And if the person doesn't do right by you, you have no reason to complain.
Absolutely. That's the thing that we need to recognize.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Osazeuzi was telling us yesterday that, look, maybe about 1% of voters come out. 1%.
Wow.
Come out for these elections. And, you know, the IG and a number of people are working to ensure that people can come out freely to vote, restrict movements in some areas, particularly in the areas where those elections are going to happen. Question that I'm trying to piece together in my head is how that is going to play out at the end of the day. So I just want to appeal to us, you know, if there is an election in your area today, go out and vote. Don't say to yourself that they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway, so why not add a voice? See if you can even change things in a particular area. The voting is going on in 25 or 26 states of the nation today. And if it's happening in your constituency, it's important.
Okay.
Now, those elections, my apologies, those elections are for legislative offices largely, be it at the federal or state levels. We shouldn't take it for granted.
Elections are taking place in Ebonyi, Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross River, Delta, Enugu, Jigawa, Katsina, Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Sokoto, and Zamfara.
Now, you now see why traveling to your states for presidential and governorship elections
doesn't make any
doesn't make any sense.
Because these are the ones who are really going there to represent you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You wanted to say something about AFCON?
Oh, yes. That was Segun Odegbami calling back.
Okay.
We had tried to reach him to see if we could have a brief chat with him because he's, of course, in Ivory Coast. Are you surprised? I'm not.
What I do is I even saw a clip of him talking to, is it Cameroonians? Just before, I think it was before or after we beat, Cameroon. He was talking to them like, Nigerians are, rooting for you, these young students in the classes and all. Look, that match, I have a friend who was talking to me. Are you watching the match? I said, nope.
You don't have the heart.
I cherish my heart too much.
You don't have the heart.
I said, nope. I said, just keep me informed.
Yes. So right now, we are bugaing.
So after the match, I went and saw, and the interesting thing? The interesting thing is that AFCON, CAF itself, has a 2-minute, what's it called now? A 2-minute highlights that they publish on YouTube after the match. So even when the match was over, I was saying, okay, I was still saying to my wife, I'm going to watch the match after. I said it's finished. They are finished. So I went and watched. Thank you very much. I watched the 2-minute highlight. No, this one not reach. So I now went and looked for a 10-minute highlight of the match, and I watched it. I saw the goal. Everyone is chasing after Osimhen. Every match, every team is chasing after Osimhen to lock him down.
That's our own Maradona now.
Meanwhile, they leave Lookman.
And he's
the guy has been knocking nets because you are chasing Osimhen. Osimhen is now feeding the guy. Anyway, hopefully we'll be able to get 1 or 2 persons to speak to us.
Remember that World Cup where it seemed that every match that Maradona played, people were just after his legs.
Yes.
Just get him down, get him down.
Just lock him down, put like 2 or 3 people on him alone.
Oh, God.
And at the end of the day, the guy will still score. Anyway.
And so we scored.
Yeah, and it's really fun. So, Nigeria, we are bugaing, yes. Let me now join you.
Yes, sir.
It's a very bugacious...
something.
Yeah, something for now. Something that is not very bugacious, Alero, is this spate of killings, particularly of monarchs.
Now, you've got everybody sober now because you have brought us down. We're back to earth now, back to reality. It's not just monarchs, Ayo.
Yeah, I know it's not just monarchs, but the fact that
it's Nigeria has just become a killing field, and no part of it seems to be safe. Children. I mean, you kidnap a whole load of children, and you have the nerve to be asking for ransom. What kind of a human being are you? Children. Even the good book says a lot about children and how you treat them.
You know, and you know what is interesting? I will say it again. I have absolute confidence in Nigeria's intelligence community. I won't stop saying it. These guys are highly trained, Alero. These guys win awards everywhere they work in the world. All the time. So every time these things happen, the question on my mind is, who are the people that are behind these things? We've heard said from time to time, one prominent Nigerian or the other, even a former lawmaker was saying on Twitter, on X, Shehu Sani, that there are some influential Nigerians that are behind some of these insecurity issues.
That's why nobody has been brought to book.
So the question is, why? What's the benefit? You want to just discredit the federal government so that the people will perceive the country to be unsafe? And then what? Look, whether we like it or not, foreign direct investors are coming into the country.
And you know this thing you just said, the campaign of calumny seems to be working, because many people, including myself, my family has been harping on me to relocate. And I keep saying, relocate to where? At what age? Oh, the stories we hear about Nigeria. See, but some of us live here, you know, and we're still alive. So what is the problem?
You know, there's something missing. Don't forget that recently, the Minister of Information and National Orientation has been talking about this National Values Charter. On the coat of arms, Nigeria's coat of arms, 4 words: unity and faith, peace and progress. On Nigeria's coat of arms, do we all agree? So we need to have that conversation about agreeing to the spirit of patriotism, because I don't know if the people who are fomenting this trouble know that there is such a thing. Okay.
Sometimes, well, I remember what former Governor Fashola said the other time: may your loyalty not be tested. That seems to be what you're asking now, because you ask Nigerians that question about loyalty and you being loyal to your country and all that. And the next question they ask you is, what has Nigeria done for me?
Well, they should go back to, what's his name? Is it Jimmy Carter? Who was that?
Kennedy. Yes. What has Nigeria, apart from I am a Nigerian, you know, Nigeria cannot give me education, it cannot give me health care, it cannot give me good roads so that I can achieve.
So, is it now demarketing the nation that is going to give you the nation you want?
Well, they're not demarketing it, they're just...
How about those who are fomenting trouble all over the place?
They're just doing what they can to survive. If you ask them, that's what they're going to say to you. The Yahoo guy says he does it to survive because he can't get a job.
The people killing
The
people.
guy kidnapping says he's kidnapping because he needs money to feed his family. And Nigeria has not provided him with a job.
Alera, we both know that those are excuses. God forgive me.
True.
Let's
Because being poor does not make you a thief. You do not become a thief because you are poor. You are poor and you become a thief because you are a thief.
Simple. In fact, you have summarized it. Well, the menu this morning is looking in the direction of Nigeria as well. The first on our item is bracing the falling naira.
Then after that, we'll be looking at a case for the national reward.
National reward. Well, find out what that means. And then remember that story about Methodist church, a Methodist school. Well, that's also up. Land disagreement between the Methodist old boys and the church.
And then we shall be looking at lifestyle. And on that segment, children nutrition.
About time. Yes, you people should talk about children. Why is it that they don't like vegetables, by the way? Anyway, artists of the week.
They don't taste good. That's why.
It's up on the bill. We'll get to it. In the meantime, again, don't forget what we've said to you over and over again. Grab your cup of cocoa, or is it cocoa? Whichever one works for you. And let's get the show on the road after this break.
When the spirit is upon, leave them, let them carry go. I will surely outrun. I will surely outrun. Cause Olua is involved. So I don't listen to the noise. Plenty chariots they run for my front, but when I begin my run, it go be like say I dey on steroids. Yeah, boy. Elijah left. I want started you Ferrari law. It's my normal level. I want started you Ferrari law. So I'm more than able. I want started you Ferrari law. Cause the spirit is upon. I'm not your regular. No, they think say I dey speculate. Because cool temper. No be number one, they always carry first. So no need to shiver. When my time come, everyone go believe you. Oh, no. Cause Olua is involved. So I no listen to the noise. Plenty chariots from my front. When I begin my run, it go be like say I dey on steroids. Elijah level. I want started you Ferrari law. It's my normal level. I want started you Ferrari law. So I'm more than able. I want started you Ferrari law. When the spirit is upon me, it's upon me. Elijah level. I want started you Ferrari law. It's my normal.
Just imagine how rich your vocabulary would be if you learned a new word every day.
Good.
I learned a new word this morning, and this is just, by the way, parenthesis, kakistocracy. Ayo, what does kakistocracy mean?
Okay. By the way, there's an app you should download. It's called Etym Online. It's like etymology online. So let me go ahead. Oh, God, I love it.
Government by the least competent.
So, kakistocracy, I just saw it says government by the worst element of a society. It was coined in 1829 by Thomas Love Peacock.
Okay. No bats being thrown at all. No bats being thrown at all. Just a new word for us to learn today.
Oh, God.
Now, let's get on
How
with
can
it.
you come up with that new word on election day?
Well, now that we're chewing Ashiri, he came up with the word. I just read it out.
I didn't ask you to put it on.
Between Monday and Wednesday this week, 4 policy moves were made towards a more stable foreign exchange market. We can't wait. We can't wait. Foreign exchange market, please improve. That's everybody's prayer right now.
Back to your script.
Okay. Sorry. But it was the directive by the CBN on Wednesday in a circular titled Harmonization of Reporting Requirements of Foreign Currency Exposures of Banks that has garnered the most headlines. The circular aimed at curbing banks' foreign speculation activities. Oh, they speculate as well. Was released at a time when the Naira fell to an all-time low of 1,530 Naira against the dollar in the parallel market. 1,530. Even though the content of the circular was directed to all deposit money banks across the country, foreign exchange matters have in recent times been a subject of general discourse among Nigerians at all levels. So, what does this circular say? What does it mean? Well, we have a panel who will help us decipher all of this morning. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Olawale Ajayi, Professor of Legal, Social, Political Environment of Business, and Head of Department, Strategy, Lagos Business School. Morning, Professor.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, like someone said on X, not Twitter, the CBN has spoken a lot of grammar. Please, can you just speak this to us in English or in Pidgin, whichever one you like, so that we can understand this perfectly?
Apparently.
Professor, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, sort of.
Well, I hope it's much better now.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. Apparently, some of the banks, prefer to put it that way, were indulging in speculative activities. In other words, trying to hedge by holding foreign currency. That is probably a natural economic behavior, but banks are actually supposed to be in the business of financial intermediation primarily. But all over the world, it's been known that banks, our bankers rather, tend to, to be creative about making money. So essentially what the CBN really required the banks to do is to ensure that their liabilities in foreign exchange and their assets, their holdings are at a balance. That is probably the first way to look at it. So banks, sell, hold foreign exchange depending on what their customers require. Obviously, when you hold on to the foreign exchange, hoping to benefit from the accretion in value because of this yo-yo effect, largely because, by and large, people are betting on the Naira to keep falling. That can be a double-edged sword, because if things were to, reverse in the opposite direction, you will suddenly find that you are in a big hole. So essentially, the central bank. Can you still hear me? I can see you.
I can hear you, but I'm trying to. You said something that's rather interesting just a short while ago, that the banks are involved in forex speculation activities. And so there are a number of times, for instance, the former Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, had questioned a number of times and signaled that the CBN should be able to do something about multiple exchange rates in the country. How does this position of the CBN now change the dynamics in the forex space in Nigeria? Recently, earlier in the week, 2 or 3 days ago, we heard that some BDCs in Abuja shut down their offices, refusing to work. Exactly, explain to us how this CBN directive or spate of directives is going to affect the forex space in Nigeria.
Well, I must say that a situation where you have multiple foreign exchange rates provides room for a lot of abuses, round-tripping, arbitrage, and quite frankly, corruption, because that means some people are allocating these foreign exchange, and discretion may admit of corrupt incentives. So that was never something that I was a fan of. The argument was made that that was trying to protect the position of the Naira, but that's an artificial thing anyway. Trying to manage the position of the Naira. But when you look at the Naira price of the Naira on the street and the price of the Naira in those several windows, it was quite easy for you to be a friend or a favored person, collect the Naira, collect the dollars. Let me just use dollars as an acronym now for foreign exchange, at the official rate, and immediately just exchange it at the parallel market. So no productive activity. And this, that was what was happening. What the CBN is trying to do now, well, in the long run, is trying to discover what is the true, price of the Naira, and to narrow the band between what you can obtain officially, what you can get from if you walk into a bank, and what you can get when you go onto the street. That is the parallel market.
Prof, let me ask you again. My apologies, Prof, for butting in again. This has gone on for so long, decades, I dare say, and it has continually affected the Nigerian economy, Nigeria's currency, our trade balance, importation, exportation. In fact, there's someone I spoke with some time ago who said the costs of buying the product to bring it to Nigeria is nothing compared to the cost of bringing it into Nigeria, because of cost of this, cost of that, cost of this, cost of that, that you have to bring a particular thing. For instance, you buy something for 20,000 naira and you have to clear it for 50,000 naira. I'm just giving an instance. And this has gone on for so long. How do these issues change? Who should be answering questions as to why these things needed to happen in the first place, having affected the Nigerian economy for so long? And as you said, a good number of people benefited from it.
Well, okay, so you moved a bit from the CBN circulars. You're not talking about quite a lot of issues.
No. I just cited the importation thing, as an example, because at the end of the day, you have to get dollars with Naira to achieve some of the things, whatever it is that you have to get. But if the dollars are not available at the CBN or the banks, for whatever reason, it affects business. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Who should be answering questions as to why these things happened for so long and unabated till we got to this point?
I would tend to say, primarily, of course, the managers of the economy. But I will also say all of us Nigerians. These are distortionary effects that we have in the general economy. More directly, of course, there are the issues of whether you are using orthodox central banking methods or unorthodox central banking methods. So there's some philosophy there in terms of economic direction. In other words, are you more attuned to having a market, a free market? Or are you more attuned to using administrative measures? I think over the past 8 or so years, we have been more attuned to what one may, typically call a more command and control system. And one of the issues with that is that efficiency suffers, corruption increases, and you do have a lot of artificiality in terms of the economy. Whilst one is not saying everything must be left completely to market forces, because there's no such thing as a complete market force. Every country manages their currency, but the measures they use are different. So there is that. But when you have that type of distortion, it has a cascading effect. It's a signaling effect. So at one level, I think that is a problem. At the other level, you have what is called a policy choice, self-interested behavior by officials of government, officials of the state. Self-interested behavior, some of it directly corrupt, some of it is more about empire building and things like that. So those distortions then mean you have high transaction costs, and you're just putting burdens on economic players, those who are exporting, those who are producing, and that essentially that is what has been the problem. Look at the customs, clearing procedures. It's a shame, what has been going on. You produce, you want to export, and there's so many toll gates. Things are not, the market is not there, or is not working freely, so as to give us some good idea of what is the fair price. Remove this distortion. So I think that has been a problem. The other point, of course, where I say it's all of us, is that we all are so import, the propensity to import is very high. And because we all love, those goods, rather than buying Nigeria or producing, real capacity, these have been problems. The insecurity that has driven farmers off driven farmers off the farms, economic policy that has not been coherent, policy instability that has not enabled us to build, how's it now, build in a systematic fashion, our economy. These have been issues. Disconnect between the federal government and the subnational government.
Okay.
I think those are really the problems, or those are the reasons I can attribute.
Prof, the same government that says that we need to look inwards and buy Nigerian and all that, I recall right from the Babangida era, when there was that slogan, export to survive. I mean, that's God, how many years ago now? More than 30 years? Yeah. And we are still in this place where some shops tag their prices in dollars. Some properties are let in dollars, and the government that is asking you to buy Nigerian allows this to happen. And who is the Central Bank of Nigeria? For us, the Central Bank of Nigeria represents government. So government is struggling to stabilize this, and at the same time, it looks the other way when people are breaking the law and tagging their goods in dollar, thereby dollarizing our economy.
Well, so that is the aspect of, as some people would say, the Nigerian in us, because you're supposed to transact in Naira in Nigeria. And there are many countries, even in Africa, where if you offer dollars on the street, people will tell you go to the bank.
Yeah.
You know. So there is that measure, but the other point I must say, and I must come hard on it, look at a situation where the National Assembly were buying Toyota Jeeps and saying, well, the roads are not good. Who is supposed to fix the roads? Who is supposed to set the right example?
Not me.
So when you have that, escape from responsibility, it just carries through. We have to be coherent in terms of policy. You talked about that export or buy Nigeria, all these type of operation, feed the nation and so on and so forth. But these policies come like fads and fashion of the moment. We do not carry through. We do not develop the discipline, to defer pleasure until we have produced. And that's why I said the example has to be set from the top. And Nigerians, I don't think, are unreasonable people. When historical, data suggests that. I think if Nigerians see an authentic and believable example by leaders at all levels and a coherence in what is to be done, then you may be able to persuade Nigerians to make the necessary sacrifice. And of course, yes, as a people, we must also be more interested in production rather than in conspicuous consumption. Thank you.
Although Aleros began by saying that we do have a panel, we're hoping to expand the panel shortly. But, Prof, there's some issues that you have raised about the efforts of the Central Bank of Nigeria. But there are those who would also always point you to the fact that for whatever justifiable or unjustifiable reasons, the Central Bank of Nigeria needs to stop printing Naira. In fact, the issues of the ways and means that were quote-unquote abused by the CBN in the past years is an unending issue. So how do you respond to those who say that the excess supply of the Naira into the Nigerian economy could be the cause of its devaluation?
That would be correct in a sense. And there are other causes, of course, but that certainly has validity in a sense, because it's, the printing of Naira is not backed up by any real value. So that certainly may be correct in a sense. But as I said, there are other reasons why that is so. And I think what was troubling was that the corporate governance at the central bank was
oh dear. We hope we'll be able to get Professor Olawale Ajayi back for that conversation, because Well, while, of course, he has said that currency devaluation could be because of the excess supply of the notes into the economy. But then one of the issues that's also been raised is that maybe the new policy of the central bank published on January 29 could be a reason for devaluation. But then, is it really devaluation? Prof, are you still there with us?
With you?
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, we lost you momentarily. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that I had said that that could be a reason. But obviously, again, there has been more or less official devaluation. And the attempt or the directive given by the CBN would also result in some measure of devaluation in terms of trying to close that gap between the so-called official window and the parallel market. Yeah, so in a sense, you could say those are, that is correct. But, in recent times, one may say what the central bank is trying to do is to, sort of calibrate so that we can have a much more accurate value for the naira. And indeed, economists have suggested that the value ought to be around 800 or so. The illiquidity in the market and speculative activity obviously it drives a lot of the fall in the prices that we see. So that is those are some of the aspects of market behavior which we must, of course, expect. The central bank is trying to ensure that there is a more transparent market, and we can only wish them well, hoping that other more fundamental measures, which will generally be longer term, will be taken by the fiscal authorities.
Okay. We've since been joined by Ambassador Ayola Olukoni, former Director General of NASIMA, that's the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Mines and Agriculture. Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning, my dear sister. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Thanks for joining us this morning. Now, the discussion has gone a bit far, but
yeah, I know.
Let me bring you in at this point. Among the core issues, as told us by Professor Ajayi, is our hunger and thirst as well for foreign goods. Even though for many years now we've been screaming, buy Nigerian, buy Nigerian. How do you think government can ensure that to make these policies work, we have to buy Nigerian so that we don't have too much choice when it comes to the things that we consume and the things that we wear and all that?
I totally agree with you in terms of the question of curbing our import bills and our penchant for foreign goods. It's been a very, very long road as far as this is concerned. Why should we import handkerchiefs? Why should we import toothpicks? Why should we import honey when we have honey in this place, in our land too as well? I come a long way in this way. I mean, you talked about the question on the issues of curbing our import bills. Let me just quickly say this. To address the crisis we are all in, one, we must cut our import bills and also export our export base in terms of the potential. Let me give you a practical example, because I do understand what Professor Ajayi was talking about, the LPS and all the question and issues of getting the monetary and fiscal policies back. I'm wearing an ethnic fabric. I hope you can see that. I hope that it is. And if you look at the parties these days, you enter any particular party, you will be shocked at the number of glittering fabrics which our women are wearing. You will be shocked. The question is, how much is going to sort things like that? Take, for example, because it's good to give practical examples. I was involved with the promotion of the Adire Ogun, authentic Adire Ogun in Abeokuta, to deal with the question and issues of promoting our ethnic fabrics, and secondly, reduce importation in terms of textile. Brilliant ideas at the state level. But immediately the governor left, the thing just collapsed. So in terms of sustainability of policy, that's one aspect. And I would like to go back to the question and issues of the subnational level. Somebody recently said that when the respective states go to Abuja and collect their checks, a percentage of it is set aside to buy dollars. We don't know where they buy dollars from. Is it from the central bank or other? So that is one aspect of it in terms of let us also query what is going on at the state level, at the subnational level. It is very, very important. For me, this is like a bad dream. I served in the foreign service for 35 years. When I was in Israel, 1994-98, $1 was exchanged for 22 naira. Let me come back again. 1 naira at the official rate, 22. And then the parliamentary was 86. How can I ever have imagined that dollar will be what it is today? Unfortunately, like I was saying in terms of the question of the state level, we had states at that particular level. I'm talking about the question of pilgrimage operations now, who also took advantage, adding 1,000 fake names to get dollars. I'm talking about dollar, which they get at 22, and then went on to sell at 86. So let us go back. What is to be done
it's a
now?
very, very, very troubling thing that you have raised there, because sometimes looking at history is very, very disturbing. But because of the elections, we need to take a quick report from our correspondent somewhere in Surulere right now, Kelly Giga, to give us a quick feedback, exactly what is happening, how far so far with the elections going on right now in various parts of the nation. Good morning, Kelly. And can you give us a quick update? What's happening? How's the election going? What's the turnout like?
This is about the 5th or 6th polling units we are visiting, and the story looks almost the same. We are right here at the Bajagel Senior High School. There are 2 polling stations right here. But take a look at what exactly is playing out here. Just a moment ago, I had to interact with some of the INEC officials on ground, as well as the ad hoc staffs on ground here who are also conducting the process. And for 2 of these polling units here, I can confirm to you that, take for instance this particular polling unit where we have some officials just here. So far, the capacity of this polling unit is about 114 registered voters, or who rather collected their PVCs. But as at 15 minutes ago, only 6 persons had voted. As at 10 minutes ago, only 6 persons had voted so far. To my extreme left as well, that polling unit has a capacity of about 764 registered voters. I understand only 97 of them collected their PVCs. So just 10 minutes ago, I understand only 3 or 4 women had registered, and about 6 males had voted rather. So that's the story for this area, the Surulere constituency 1. It's pockets of voters all around, and we're just wondering why exactly this kind of turnout in the elections. We had thought that, with how the 2023 elections played out, perhaps maybe voters would have perhaps come out a bit more today to vote. It's a densely populated area, I must say, and so I'm really amazed that we do not have voters right here at these particular polling stations. 2 polling stations here, and earlier on we visited about 5 other places, and that's the story for the day. The voters, we're not seeing them out here. I think I must mention as well that we had about 121 persons collected their PVCs. So in this constituency 1, we're expecting about 121,000 persons to vote. But with this turnout right now, I'm afraid it's not looking too good as at now. Well, perhaps we still have some time until 2:30 p.m. Let's see if things will get better.
Could it be as a result of low voter education or awareness? Because that's one of the issues that has been raised, Kelly. Okay, well, Kelly, thank you so much for the reporting. We'll definitely get back to you. That kind of thing, that issue had been raised earlier, about people not getting enough awareness about the elections, as he said as well.
That's the effect right there.
Exactly. So let's hope that, as he said, between now and 2:30, when the elections will close,
there's still plenty of time.
Troop out. Well, don't forget what he said. About 100,000 people are being expected, and according to him, I'm not sure up to 1,000 have come out so far.
I suppose the children are out there playing football.
So please, it goes back to what we're saying. I mean, we're just discussing the Naira, for instance. The people who are going to appoint the professionals that will get the job of crashing the Naira, or rather, boosting the
value
fate
of the Naira.
They are the ones that you have to vote for. They're the ones that you have to put in office for them to appoint the right people to get the job done. So that's, the conversation. So please go out and vote. If you are in any part of the country where elections are holding in your community, please go out and vote. It is important to you and to the future. Get back to the conversation, Ambassador Olukoni. It's I don't know how you have had to handle the issues, particularly because you have found yourself in situations where you have to take some decisions and, it will seem like things are just not moving as they should. But part of the issues that have also been raised is the effect of the policies, these 4 policies that the CBN has raised in the past 1 week. Do you see those policies as concerted, focused in one direction, or they are just scattered in different places, going in different directions?
No, we can say that the policies are focused in terms of what exactly should be done. But the question and issue is always implementation. And I think Professor Ajayi had raised the issue earlier. It's one thing to have a policy, it's another thing altogether to effectively implement. And I would like to connect this to our effort at the level of the AfCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. As part of effort to sensitize people to it, we went around the country and we used the Chambers movement at that particular period when I was in the Chambers of Commerce. And part of the effort is to expand the export basis in terms of what exactly the potentials. Now, if you have a policy, for example, to encourage export, and you're exporting goods from a particular part of the country, because a lot of Nigerian products, and I give you the specific case of our hibiscus flower to Mexico and the crisis which we had at that particular period. You have to contend with customs. You have to contend with a lot of export regulatory agencies. These are part of it. So it's one thing to have a policy. The other aspect of it is to effectively implement and ensure implementation of those policies. And that's why I'm coming up to the question and issues of that. The subnational level, we have a lot of role to play in this particular area in terms of taking advantage of what exactly is on ground. There used to be the Nigerian Export Promotion Group, and the export promotion is to encourage export and increase our export too as well. How much are we using this? The respective states across the country. Let me connect to recent development in the Nigerian mining sector. Gemstone. We heard what happened in Ibadan, the bomb blast. I had been to the gemstone market in Ojo in Ibadan. Ironically, it's in a slum area of Ibadan. But a lot of work, a lot of marketing, a lot of activities are going on in that particular place. To what extent, for example, is the state government or your state government is taking advantage of what exactly is happening in that place?
You know, Ambassador, that's a very interesting dimension to the conversation, sincerely, because there are those who will be pointing in the direction of constitutional amendments, but at the worst, we should be having collaborations. But, you know, let's wind down now, gentlemen, in about 90 seconds. Prof, going forward, how optimistic are you that where we are now will lead us to where we want to get to?
You know, I'm always optimistic, and I always say bet on Nigeria. In a sense, I think these steps, the central bank, the steps the central bank has taken are in the right step, the right direction, sorry, they are coherent. But there are other things that need to be done, particularly from the fiscal side. But if the money shows the day and the direction is right, I do tend to believe that the likelihood of doing the right thing is high.
Okay.
The truth of the matter, of course, is that the political will to take the hard measures, nobody is going to, by a magic wand, heal things. We have to be prepared for the hard slog to restructure our economy, to get things right. And I think that is where I have apprehension, because Nigerians are screaming.
Yeah, yes. Two terms that you have used that petrify me, political will and restructuring. Those two, I'm not sure we have good understanding of them, but that's another conversation for another day. Ambassador, what would be your take on how far we have come, whether or not you are optimistic that where we are now is good enough for us to go in the direction that we should be going?
Well, just like Professor Ajayi said, I'm also an incredible optimist about Nigeria. But as Nigeria, we must be ready to swallow the very bitter pills. And one of the fundamental issues and things is that truly we must restructure our country. Definitely. Long shot, but we must continue to take steps towards that direction. Okay. Economic readjustment and things like that are just palliatives at the end of the day, so that the respective state and federating units can be able to deal with the question of development and the question of having a better life for people. That is the bottom line.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Ayola Olukoni, former DG of NACIMA. And we also had Professor Olawale Ajayi, Professor of Legal, Social, Political, Environment of Business, Head of Department, Strategy, Lagos Business School. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming to share your insights with us this morning. Sunrise will return in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Please join us.
Hungry for goodness. Terra Oil. A mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, or pure love.
Hi.
Now, let me tell you about Safari Valley Eco Resort, the first of its kind in West Africa. Upon your arrival, you are introduced to your butler, who plans your itinerary.
We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park.
So many activities, all in the same premises. Visit the gym or the stables, they have it all. At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife and how to interact with them.
They used only electric vehicles here. This creates a serene environment. I'm told it's over 1,000 acres. My cabin here sits on 2 acres with a large terrace space overlooking my private swimming pool. Now this is royalty. They have their own farms, thousands of fruit trees. I can also have my lunch here at the waterfall. Quite a beautiful place you have here.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
What do you understand by a national reward? Alera, what do you understand by a national reward?
And they will tell me what I will do to get a reward.
No, just be a good Nigerian. You get a reward. Isn't that enough?
No, nobody gives a good reward for that.
What do you mean?
It's only your conscience that gives you a reward for that.
Well, what is this national reward thing? Because, I mean, there are those who point to the current economic outlook, but come on, national reward. You know, when I heard national...
Anyway, there's something that they're going to give.
No. The first thing that came to my mind was, okay, these national values. If you are a good Nigerian, you get rewarded for being a good Nigerian.
Okay, so who is judging whether you're a good Nigerian or not, and how are they doing the judging?
Let's ask our guests, because they carry me go place where I don't know. CEO of Cash Token Rewards Africa, Chief Dr. Lai Labode is here. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
First of all.
So what do I have to do to get this reward?
Don't you first of all want to know what this national reward is?
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So let's start from there. Okay. Is this something I have to just behave well? Because if you reward children for being good children, right?
First of all, thank you very much for having me once again. Let me start like this. Of course, we know how tough things are for Nigerians. And we can see the continuous effort by this government to make things better. And of course, it has always been our own philosophy at Cash Token Africa that what Africa needs is a whole lot of socially smart business models, which means the marriage of successful enterprises and social development. Meaning that while businesses can make a whole lot of money, we must connect it directly to social development. So what we have done is to take some leadership in creating that. So in the last 7 years, about 7-8 years ago, we had commissioned a research that we called the Patronage Optimization Research, which basically gave us insight into how best to redistribute wealth without basing it on charity. And that led us to what we're talking about today, the National Reward. So in the last 5 years, we have tested this model and basically paid out almost 20 billion to Nigerians. We are one company that we can beat our chest today that every week we make Nigerians millionaires without gambling. And all they have to do is to patronize a Nigerian business.
Pause.
Yes.
You notice that when you mentioned 20 billion,
yes,
my colleague looked in my direction.
Yes, I saw the excitement.
Like, did you get your own?
20 billion.
Yes. And I'll tell you how.
Exactly.
Yes. So first of all, our company is a cash reward as a service. Meaning that we service businesses, the MTNs, the Glos, the Airtels, the MasterCards, where when they want to say thank you to their customers, they will buy something from us. It is called the cash token. They'll buy from us to give their performing customers. That means it's not based on charity, in that you're performed. Now, every time you get one cash token, you will receive instant cash in your national reward wallet. I'll talk about that. And two, you enter into a national consumer draw. We do a draw every week. It's a national consumer draw. It means that you cannot buy it like lottery. You can only get it when you have patronized a business. Now that draw is for 5,000 to 100 million every week. So you ask me, Chief Labode, where do you get all this money for that you pay Nigerians? Is it your cash? No, it is not my cash. It's actually money paid by businesses to us that will put together into a pot every week, and it's a large pot that will distribute across the country. So we have millions of Nigerians who have already benefited from this today because they have patronized the Nigerian business, they have been rewarded, they have gone into the draws, they have won cash, and we'll do that every other week. Every week.
Now, those names that you mentioned,
yes,
they're not beans companies.
Absolutely.
To use the Nigerian expression.
Yes.
And when you say if they want to give gifts to their customers who have performed well, I am thinking about, it's not customer like Alero who buys recharge cards every week that they want to give gifts to. It's going to be their distributors. It's going to be their downlines, so to speak.
Let me put it this way. MTN, for example, is one of the biggest companies in Nigeria and Africa today. But of course, they want to maintain their stand on the market. So they want to acquire even new customers. They want to increase their revenues. They want to build some emotional equity with customers. MTN is also very concerned about how prosperous Nigerians can get. So what they have done to Alero, for example, is that Alero, you spend 1,000 naira weekly. Alero, instead of you to spend more with another network, for example, why don't you spend 1,200? They are basically to spend more with us. Either we're a good network, spend more with us. They say, if you do that, I will reward you with one cash token, knowing that every cash token can potentially change your life. So what they have done is that they have rewarded you. They didn't just say some other Mekunu, even though we're happy that 90-95% of our winners are Mekunu. We're excited about that. But it's for every Nigerian. We have seen very big men and women win money. But more importantly, it is that Alero, he's patronizing the business. Alero is performing. Alero is getting rewarded. That's what it is. And it's for everyone, all Nigerians.
And Alero is a good customer because she has 90 gig unused data.
Oh, wow.
Phone, I'm just saying. So she's a good customer.
Don't I have any secrets?
Now, let me take you a little bit further. The National Reward has come about with this administration. Of course, we're very engaged with Mr. Lanre Gbajabiamila, the Director General of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, who started thinking, wait a minute, if over 5 years, without people having to gamble, patronizing Nigerian businesses, we're able to touch the lives of so many Nigerians across the country, a whole lot of Northerners who enjoy this also. Why don't we come together and create something for all our people? Not just connecting to the about 200 businesses that we have today. Why not all businesses? So that every time a Nigerian makes a purchase anywhere, as long as you're buying Nigerian, which is local content, as long as it's Nigerian business, let us establish a national reward for the first time in Africa.
So how does this I'm trying to use the right words. How does this help to achieve sustainable wealth redistribution?
Fantastic. So let us look at an economy that is almost $500 billion, right? So imagine that every time a purchase is made, right, a business has bought the national cash token and given a customer. And the customer is guaranteed instant cash in his national reward wallet. Now, all Nigerians, and this is very instructive, will now carry a single reward wallet. It's called a national reward wallet. That means all businesses that you engage, you buy petrol, you enter Uber, you go to Chicken Republic, you go to all of those places, you are getting the same reward exactly, and it's in cash. Nigerians love cash. Nigerians know what to do with their money. A lot of Nigerians don't even understand all these funny points here and there. They love cash. So your reward goes into your wallet. Now, as soon as that happens, you also get a ticket into the weekly draw. Now, the monies that we share every week, so imagine some woman in Shagamu Market who won 10 million, and there are many of them. Let me talk about that one in particular. I just want you to imagine what she was able to start doing. She was able to expand her market, right? She didn't gamble. She only purchased MTN airtime. The other guy who won 10 million bought Airtel airtime. The other, we have loads of them. These people, they are first of all getting out of shame. They're expanding their businesses. They're sending their kids to school. Imagine the size of a national reward when we're talking between 2.6 trillion to 5.2 trillion every year in cash that goes back to Nigerians without having to borrow. I just want you to imagine that.
Chief.
Yes.
Hold on.
She's a woman, and when it comes to money,
let's talk about it.
We are very good about Ishiro.
Please, let's do that.
Ishiro.
Let's do that.
I need to take you back a bit.
Please.
You need to tell us again and explain properly where you get this money from. You have made it clear it's not your money.
Yes.
Good. So where does this money come from?
So let us give
this 2-point-something trillion that you're giving out every year.
Yes. So today, we are not yet giving up to that. We've done private sector for 5 years, and I told you that we paid almost 20 billion out. And that is with the businesses that we have today, who are our partners today, who are touching Nigerian lives. Nigerians who patronize them, they're touching their lives. And we're particularly grateful to the likes of MTN, who are touching people's lives every day, every week, because they're getting patronized.
Okay.
Now, MTN is really smart, because what they're doing is that as long as you're keeping us in business, as long as you're keeping us very Nigerian, as long as they're doing this, we will touch your life. So they buy the cash tokens from us.
Okay.
And then
that they give out.
Yes. So our business is to manage the entire process. So the money, so if you see a 1 billion in the pot on Friday, it's not Laila Bode's money. It's not this Egba man's money. It is that the money has come from businesses, and we have put it in a pot, and they will run a draw. It's a consumer draw, right? It's not a gamble. It's a consumer draw, because you must have patronized the Nigerian business to be in the draw in the first place. That is the money. Now, that's for the businesses that we have at this time.
Okay.
Now, imagine when it covers the entire economy, a $500 billion economy. Let's even just take a 10% of that is rewardable. It is massive. The calculation that we have, that without Nigeria having to borrow, that based on performances by Nigerians who are buying from Nigerian businesses, we can push out between 2.6 to 5.2 trillion back to Nigeria. That is wealth redistribution, because they didn't have to gamble to actually get it.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
So where does MTN get that money from? From the same consumers?
So basically,
because if I was going to buy, say, this phone stand for 5,000 naira,
correct,
and the organization making it says, okay, we want to buy some cash tokens. So it is natural to expect that to hypothesize that maybe they themselves will increase this to 5,500 naira.
You know what?
So that they don't also lose.
That's a brilliant question, but let me answer this and we've studied this very deeply. And I was in New York the other time, and I was talking to some of our incoming partners, and we were asking the same question. And I broke it down to them. You're not going to be competitive So MTN is not adding any extra. Neither is Airtel or Glo or 9Mobile adding any extra. You already spent 1,000 naira. They're saying if you spend more, if you buy 1,200 from your 1,000, you receive what? 1,200 naira airtime. You have not paid extra for it, right? They have only taken from what they have earned to say thank you to you. And that's the design. So imagine if you increase yours, you're not competitive. And that goes across all the businesses. So you don't pay extra for it. It's a reward for patronage.
Even if I'm paying, how will I know I'm even paying extra? Because they're not going to tell me. One. Secondly, when I make a purchase...
No, you receive your airtime of 1,200.
Yes, when I make a purchase, they don't tell me that if you buy more, you're going to get a cash token.
No, they actually tell you. So today, if you dial star 6700 star 8 on MTN today, right now, star 6700 star 8, MTN will tell you your status. You will see how much more you need to spend. They tell you all of that. It's a very transparent company. It's a very transparent business. And
star 6700
6700
star 8 hash.
Star 8 hash.
It will tell you welcome to MTN Cash Token Rewards, and it will give you your status. It will tell you how much more money you need to spend. It will tell you, your threshold. It will tell you all of that.
Wait, let me find my status first. Threshold.
Yes.
Recharge threshold. Wait, today it's you. I will get my. It's being processed.
You get your reward from
MTN. It's being processed. While it is being processed, Jesus, I have exposed myself.
The thing is that I don't think that a lot of people know about this.
That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Many people don't know. For instance, I'm hearing 700
for the first time. 6700.
Wow. You know,
Same here.
The good news is that...
And every time they send me a text, if they expect that every time I get a text, I'm going to read it, well, they got to think again. I got too many things to read.
So you can imagine yourself. I have no doubt that if you're an MTN customer, you'll have received that message one time or the other. It is that many more Nigerians, maybe because you probably have a lot of cash sitting somewhere.
No, I have too many things to read.
Yes. So you can imagine many more Mekunos across the country.
Well, sorry, dear customer, your request cannot be processed at this time. Please try again.
I mean, that's a simple
actually, mine is being processed. They'll tell me later. Please go ahead. Well, there are Mekunos like us. Some people are not Mekunos.
Yes,
6700. Okay, I got to save that.
So the good news is that...
And share that with my friends.
Please share with your friends.
Okay.
The good news is that so many Nigerians across the country are benefiting from this. Can we do much more? Yes, we have documentaries that we're working on, especially on the national reward, now that we're coming to that point where working with the federal government to deliver the world's first national reward for a country. It's the first time anywhere. Usually we're saying Africa, but there's nowhere in the world where they have a national reward based on patronage.
Well, just 1 second.
Yes.
Right now, some people want to try that number on their phone.
Yes, of course.
So please, call it again. Come on, please.
Please call it again.
So please do call it again.
Star 6700 star 8 hash if you're an MTN customer. Star 6700 star 8 hash if you're an MTN customer. And for everyone, for all networks, just dial star 6700 hash. You'll be able to get into the cash token rewards. And as long as you can patronize these businesses, you will receive what is called the cash token reward. It will give you instant cash in your national reward wallet and also take you into a draw for 5,000 to 100 million every week. You buy Nigerian, you win Nigerian.
Okay.
So the star 6700 is a generic number for
all networks.
All networks.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I just tried it now. Star 6700 gives me 7 lists.
Options.
Gift cash token, save to win, subscription, airtime, etc. etc.
Yes, and your wallet.
I don't have a wallet here.
No, there's a wallet 6.
Oh, yeah, 6. You even know it offhand.
Of course.
Okay, so I can cash out, I can set up in my cash balance. Let me find out my cash balance first.
Nigerians love cash.
Oh, of course.
Cash
Who doesn't?
balance.
Yes. Welcome. This new exam is still under development. Okay, they are still developing.
Sorry, which one is that?
The generic
it's the 6700, not the MTN.
No, 6700 works.
No, you just said that it's still...
Maybe there's something wrong with it.
Welcome to Cash Token Rewards. This exciting new feature is still under development. Do stay tuned.
Okay, maybe those are updates, but 6700 has worked for 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, basically, the companies that you have mentioned are telcos.
Yes.
And you say you are looking to expand this year.
Yes.
To start expanding. what companies are you looking at or are you talking to?
Okay, already we have companies that are beyond the telcos. You know, we have about 200 businesses, you know, which also includes MasterCard. You know, there's My Deal Zone, which is for MasterCard holders. It's a sub-Saharan African deal we have with MasterCard. If you go there to the platform, you buy from all the businesses there, you will get cash token rewards. That's already there. But of course, it's important that we cut across even other businesses.
So just a second. Yeah. So just a second. For telcos, we know how.
Yes.
For those who are
the others,
not telcos.
Yes.
How do I get my?
So let us talk about a restaurant, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. So a restaurant says that if you were to spend 1,000 naira in my restaurant, I'll give you one cash token or one national reward. They have set their thresholds. They didn't say 500 naira. Each business has to think about what is the minimum you should spend because they know that they have to invest in buying the cash token from us before they can give it to you.
Yes.
So they've done the calculation. So today I spent 2,000 naira. That means you receive 2 cash tokens. What I'm going to ask you is that, what's your phone number? All you need is your phone number to receive your national reward. They punch in your number into it, you'll receive an SMS saying, congratulations. For example, Chicken Republic has gifted you 1 national cash token. Instantly, your wallet that you just checked now, you receive your instant cash inside it. Imagine that gives you 6 naira immediately. Imagine that you've gone around, you bought airtime, electricity, you bought petrol, all week, you got in 1,000 cash. That's 6,000 naira cash in the first place. But that's also 1,000 tickets in the draw on Friday. That gives you a chance to win between 5,000 and 100 million. That's what it is. So those businesses set their thresholds. You patronize them, and of course. So if it's a mama put who cannot be doing integration, they have what is called the cash token scratch card. They will give you the scratch card after you have eaten. You scratch it, load it, you still receive your money, and you enter into the draw.
It looks like I don't go to the correct restaurants. Is it that they tell you this when you come in, or you have to be aware of it and ask for it?
So if you look at MTN does quite a bit of engagement, SMSs. We have a show every Friday on television that showcases winners every Friday on AIT. If you watch that's part of what we're expanding now. Even on your channel, we're planning to do a 5-minute show so that people can actually see on channels, they can see on other TV channels where they see this. Now we're expanding that show because the national reward is now coming. You can't escape it because you must buy petrol, you must buy food, you must do something. So and you keep seeing that.
Yes.
Now your reward is not in silos anymore. You go to Spa, you get some points. You go to H-Medics, you get some points. There is points in silos. Now you have a single place where it is always cash, which is the major thing. And then the rewards come. So it is important that we celebrate winners every week on Fridays. We call it Lalale Friday. So every Friday on television, we put it on television.
So let me just show this out. My current balance, 6 naira.
6 naira. Okay, that means you received the cash token before. That's cash. So imagine that 6 naira that you actually got 1,000 cash.
$6.
6, yeah. That's what accumulates.
You have to buy some more.
You have to buy some more. So that means that you were in the draw once, but you did not win.
I had no idea.
You had no idea, but today you know, and many more people know now. Okay. So it is that, let me tell you what has also happened with us. The spike of those, because you can buy airtime as low as 5 naira. You can actually spend that money right now on that phone.
And buy 5 naira.
Yes, you can buy as low as that. And there's a reason for that. It is to make it easy for Nigerians to spend the money that they earn. So imagine that you have been patronizing all of these businesses. You have 6,000 naira guaranteed, but you also had 1,000 tickets. Each ticket gives you the same chance in the draw. You didn't need to gamble. You just patronize the Nigerian business. That means the more prosperous Nigerian businesses become, the more wealth we're able to redistribute.
Is there any... okay, we are running out of time. Is there a website that people can go to right now?
Of course.
Just in case.
Of course. Yes. Okay. It is www.cashtokenrewards.ng.
Cashtokenrewards.ng.
And if you do cashtokenrewards.com, it will still take you there.
Cashtokenrewards, one word.
One word.
Cashtokenrewards.com.
Yes.
Or cashtokenrewards.ng.
It will take you to the same place.
And so anything people need to do people register with you?
You don't need to register. All you need to do when your national reward kicks shortly is to patronize a Nigerian business.
When you say patronize the Nigerian business, I know we're running out of. When you say patronize the Nigerian business, how about Nigerian businesses that sell foreign goods?
Okay, but they're selling in Nigeria, and Nigerians are benefiting. So if you sell a foreign good in Nigeria, Nigerians are getting paid salaries, right? Nigerians are spending their money right in Nigeria. As long as the business is here, of course, we wish that people buy more of our locally made goods, and that is something.
So will I be informed when I walk into a restaurant? That...
Oh yes, for your national reward, we have documentaries coming. There'll be a lot happening on your channel also, you know, and that's why we're doing this campaign at this time. That beyond the few businesses that we have now, paying all that big money and touching Nigerian lives, why doesn't it become every business? So that you won't have to the assistance that you have will have been a lot more if you could patronize more Nigerian business.
Okay. Chief Dr. Lai Labode, Chief Executive Officer, Cash Token Rewards Africa. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
And the next time you come, please bring our rewards.
Patronize Nigeria. Thank you so much.
So Sunrise returns to the next conversation. Do stay with us.
Taste. We are passionate about two things in Nigeria. The first is football. The second is our rice. And nobody celebrates like a Nigerian. So, for every goal scored, every mark made, you can be sure to always come back home to rice. Celebrate with Nigerian Premium Big Bull Rice, homegrown just like you. Big Bull Rice, tasty rice, nourished you.
Labour Party, Oludi, Labour Party, Oludi, Labour Party, who's your guy? Now Olumide Akpata, Oludi, see us we dey like beans and rice. Labour Party, I will never leave your side. I will never ever. I dedicate my time forever, time to you, my people. Even if the road be rough, I know mine. 'Cause together we shall stand. Oludi, Labour Party, who's your guy? Now Olumide Akpata. See us we dey like beans and rice. 'Cause together we shall stand. You don't need lonely nights. Call me anytime. I know what's on your mind. Don't have to be lonely tonight. I'm just a ring away. Don't need to be ashamed. I know what's on your mind. So baby, call me when you like. I'ma run my world. Let me show you love. I'ma do show it like you make yo. I'ma lie with it on my soul. I'ma run my world. Let me show you love. I'ma do show it like you make yo. I'ma make a carry you go. Do you wanna meet today? You know you got every day from Monday. Wanna see you every day. I wanna see you every day. Driving in the goddamn rain. I'm driving in the goddamn. Even with this goddamn pain, swerving in and out my lane. I need cold champagne, burning up my soul and veins. Why I use the Lord's name in vain? 'Cause I swear to God you like it, baby. Right or die, know me, say you drive me crazy. To the point where I give you keys to open my heart. Nah, Johnny, do we have to serenade these ladies? Tell me. Yes or no, let it go. Used to be the nigga that would fight for love. Now a heart in broken pieces, what I'm frightened of. But I'm lighting up. Omo, you run my world. Let me show you love. Omo, to show where you make you. Omo, lie where they hold my soul. Omo, you run my world. Let me show you love. Omo, to show where you make you. Omo, to show where you make you. See you every day. I'ma pull up on you every day. I wanna see you hang on. Take you there, look. I'm on my way. Driving in the goddamn rain. I'm driving in the goddamn rain. Driving in the goddamn. Driving in the. I swear to God you like it, baby. You know you're on my way. Driving in the goddamn rain. Driving in the goddamn. Driving in the goddamn rain.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, a little correction on the website we gave during the last segment. The website is actually www.cashtokenreward, no S on the end, cashtokenreward.ng. And that's it right there on your screen. Universal cash rewards for
customer loyalty and incentives.
Oh,
see,
okay.
All the companies,
they're the partners.
All the companies that are already beneficiaries that are already signed
partners,
up.
Yes.
Hey, Lagos State government is signed up as well.
Wow.
What do you?
Oh, EKDC. Oh, okay. First Bank.
Okay.
What do we have to do to
get more money?
Tokens from First Bank.
Put more money.
Okay, now the show goes on, and we're looking at the land disagreement between Methodist Old Boys and the Methodist Church.
Interesting.
What?
Interesting.
Okay. Wait for it. The Methodist Boys High School Old Boys Association has appealed to the Methodist Church of Nigeria to stop encroaching on the school's land. The Old Boys Association says that the school was duly registered as an educational institution under the Lagos State Ministry of Education, saying that the land was solely for educational purposes. The Old Boys Association in 2022 said, and I quote, "The church should stop tampering with the school's land. The simple and only thing we're asking the church to do is to withdraw from the site and stop plundering school assets. We make bold to state that the school, founded in 1878, that's about 144 years ago, is an instrument of trust under a trust deed, which the school is duly registered under the Lagos State Ministry of Education. Thus, the church can neither tamper nor plunder nor sell any of its asset strictly meant for education." Okay. We reached out to the church, but they promised to speak on the matter at the appropriate time. But for today, we have, I assume, somebody who's a member of the Old Boys Association, Engineer Mobolaji Akinsoya Brown, who joins us virtually. Good morning, Mr. Akinsoya Brown.
Oh, but I
Mr. Brown, are you there?
Barrister Adigoke Adedoyin is the one joining us this morning.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. I have with me the president of the Old Boys Association, in the person of Mr. Mobolaji Akinsoya Brown.
Okay.
And we are also the lawyers to the Old Boys Association from Simmons Cooper Partners, Lagos.
I don't know. Well, we have that challenge here. We can only take one person on one platform. I don't know if it's possible to open another device for either you or Engineer Brown so that we can have both of you on 2 different platforms. It's a very interesting conversation, but we can speak to you while you settle. We may not be able to come see your face, but you can begin the process of opening another device. Well, perhaps to begin by saying, maybe to Engineer Brown, if you can hear me, many Nigerians would have thought that Methodist Boys High School and the Methodist Church are children of the same parents. Methodist system. What could be the reason for this misunderstanding, so to speak?
Yes, well, it's about the growth and development of the infrastructures of the school. There is no ambiguity on the school CFO, which treats Methodist Boys High School, Lagos, for educational purpose. And what we are saying is that out of the 5.771 hectares of land at 11 Sinari Daradijo Street, the Methodist Church Nigeria has acquired 8,500 square meters through another CFO. So how can we have 2 CFO on a land? So that is the bone of contention here. And we are saying that enough is enough with Methodist Church Nigeria encroaching into the school land, which was designed by the Lagos State government through the CFO for educational purpose and not for the building of luxurious flats for commercial gains and selling to the public.
Oh, interesting. Well, perhaps to also ask, who acquired was it the church that acquired the land for the school in 1878? Or, in other words, who came first, the land or the church?
Yes, on that matter, I will yield the floor to our barrister from Simon Cooper to shed more light on that.
Go ahead now,
Mr. Adedoyin.
Mr. Adedoyin.
Yeah, so good morning once again. So if I could just provide some context to all of this conversation, just to sort of give us a bit of background to how all of this essentially started. So the Lagos Boys High School was established by a trust deed as far back as 1878, which you have alluded to, and it was registered as an educational institution.
Who initiated, just a second, my apologies, sincere apologies, just for understanding and context, because many people always identify the fact that the missionaries that came into Nigeria came as Christian missionaries, and one of the ways that they got through to the people was by setting up schools.
Schools, yes.
That's the reason I'm asking that question. So was it the church that set up the trust deed?
Yes, it was essentially the foreign missionaries at the time, who basically entered into that trust deed to have the school established. Yes.
Okay. So go ahead now, because I mean, that's why many people will be wondering, hey, come on. The school is your parents, and the school, the church is the parent of the school, yes. And so the parents should be able to say whatever it is that they wanted to do. I don't know. Just help us. I mean, you want to give us context, so please go ahead. So we can understand what the issue is about.
Just to quickly touch on that. I mean, there's no denying that fact, right? But there's also not denying the fact that the two entities are different entities. The two bodies are different entities entirely.
recognized by law. So, so just to continue with the trajectory, so the school was basically established as an educational institute by the Lagos State Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education, and the C of O was actually granted to the school because originally the school was actually located at Broad Street, 11 Broad Street, Lagos Island. Then along the line, the school was then moved to Ojo in Lagos State, so where you have the current Lagos State University. Mm-hmm. Then the Lagos State government at the time then acquired that land for some public interest purpose, and then had to then granted the school an alternative land where it is at the moment in Victoria Island, 11 Sinari Daranijo in Victoria Island, as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of the land at Ojo. So this was done through the efforts of some of the old boys at the time who were also in government, Dr. Louis as well as Chief Tunde Fanemokun. So that land where the school is currently was given to the school as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of the land at Ojo.
So the church had nothing to do with the acquisition of that land?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was through the effort of the association, the old boys at the time. And as I mentioned, Dr. Louis and Dr. Tunde Fanemokun at the time. And just to mention that Chief Tunde Fanemokun was the PS under the Jakonde administration at the time. And so the COO was actually issued in the name of the school. Okay. It was issued in the name of the school as far back as 1983.
So it had no relationship with the church at all?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Alero has questions for you as well.
Okay. So can you please explain to us how come there are 2 C of O's for one property?
So essentially that is what baffles us, even as lawyers. I mean, we hear this happen everywhere, but to actually have this done by a church is really what it's ludicrous. It's ridiculous to say the least. So as I was saying, the initial COO was granted to the school in 1983, and fast forward to 2012, some individuals within the leadership of the church then came together and applied to Lagos State government for the reissuance of a parallel certificate of occupancy in 2012, and for that COO to be registered in the name of the registered trustees of Methodist Church Nigeria, in bracket, the school proprietor. So you can see what they've cleverly done.
Yes.
To the Lagos State government. Mm-hmm. So they applied for a different COO in the name of the registered trustees of Methodist Church Nigeria, the school's proprietor.
Okay. Mr. Adedoyin, have you been in touch with Lagos State at all to discuss this issue of double certificate of occupancy? And what if you have, what was their response?
So we have actually, in fact, we wrote to the registrar of title. We also wrote to the Attorney General of Lagos State on this issue, just to show the illegality, the fraud being perpetrated. And their response essentially was that we should explore the mediation mechanism of the court. So they're basically telling us that we should approach the court to have this resolved, because it's really baffling to have all of this going on, especially by a religious institution, a reputable one for that matter. And I'm not putting this on the entire church. What I'm saying is, it is some individuals within the leadership of the church that are spearheading this illegality.
Okay.
And that is why we are bringing this to the attention of the public.
Well, interestingly, it would seem like the public has gotten some kind of attention to it. A video was making the rounds earlier on in the week, and perhaps even for about a week or two now. I don't know if it's something we can take a quick look at for people to get some context.
Don't get yourself in a mess. This is the school of the school. We are not accommodating it. All your iron rod will be seized. Anybody here will deal with it. That's all I want. And we are not trespassers. They do not trespass. And I told them, we had 3 meetings. And I told them one stay in this place. Leave our land alone. Only to hear now that they brought some material. Nobody will build in here. But don't get yourself messed up. Quote name, Tifani Muko is my name. I'm the one that got this land for the school 40 years ago. And before that, I'm also in construction. I don't go into people's land. If you do that one, so let your boys get out of here and if not come in here.
Mr. Yusuf, is that clear?
Okay, nothing.
Is that clear?
It's good.
Damilola, you understand what he's trying to say?
Yeah, I don't really understand, but I know that there's a little bit of conflict. That's what I think I know.
Okay. You are aware that this school was formerly at Broad Street.
Okay.
This is the second oldest school in Nigeria. Okay. Now, they sold the land. This church.
Are they the contractor? Yes, they are. They are okay. Representatives of the contractor.
Okay, yes, but yeah, same
from Methodist Church. Okay.
Whoever sent you, let them come and meet us. Let them come and meet us.
They are around now.
Can I talk with my engineer 1 minute?
Okay.
Please, don't come here again.
Well, that video is quite viral now. But let me ask Engineer Amobolaji Akensanya Brown, since this conversation started, any overtures so far made to the church as to why this whole thing needs to happen in the first place?
Yes, we met with the last prelate.
I'm asking Mr. Akensanya if he is there with you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, we met with the last prelate, Uche Kalu. We had meetings with him, and he warned all the members present that nobody should go back to the school land. I'm quoting last prelate, Uche Kalu, what he said. So we are surprised that they engaged talks. They brought talks to the land last week, Monday, and they started throwing stones and rock at us, and that's very saddening.
Okay.
Of Methodist Church Nigeria.
I'm struggling to understand that, because I thought, for all intents and purposes, peace is what I know that Jesus Christ preached, and if memory serves me right, you describe, when you talk about a church, you are talking about the Christian faith. Now, these conversation with this church, is there any correspondence, any mail, any text, letter, or whatever that was sent and for which there was a reply?
Yes, we wrote to them after the meeting with the last prelate, Kalu Uche, but they never responded to us. They never replied our letter up to date.
Interesting. Now,
have you tried to see them after what happened last week, Monday?
For now, we have taken our position. We've had meetings, and we are resolute that we don't need to sit down. They are not to be, some of them are not to be trusted, and we have lost faith in them. And our position now is to proceed to institute legal action, to Methodist Church Nigeria, so that we can put all these at rest.
This whole incident and this video gives the impression that the school is sitting on a large piece of land part of which has remained unbuilt. Is that assumption correct?
Yes, the layout plan of the school, what has been built is just, I can say, is just 45% to 50% out of the 5.771 hectares of the survey plan of the school. You know, we have, large expanse of land for hostel accommodation development, IT structures development, sports grounds development, and out of this, they have taken 8,500 square meters out of it. Roughly 1 hectare has been taken out of this. An hectare is 10,000 square meters.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Adedoyin, with this now, the engineer Akinsanya there is saying that they have taken a position to institute a legal process. And we saw the former PermSec, Chifani Mokun, saying there that, look, he was part of the process from the very beginning. And given the background that you have also given us now, it would seem like the church has some questions to answer. Where do we go from here?
So, absolutely. I mean, the church does have a lot of questions to answer. And just to, in another 2-3 minutes, another thing that these individuals did was to also apply to Lagos State government to change the purpose of use from educational purpose to residential purpose. That's another thing. Then, secondly, these individuals then floated a company by the name J. Wesley Investment Company, and then transferred all of this landed property, the church now, then transferred this landed property to J. Wesley Investment Company of Nigeria. Guess for how much? For a consideration of 1 naira. A consideration of 1 naira. So essentially,
sorry, what year was this?
That was 2012. In fact, we have the deed of assignment purportedly assigning this interest in the land from the church, these individuals within the church, to J. Wesley Investment Company Nigeria, which they are basically.
Yes. I am at a complete loss as to why the Lagos State government would deal with them on this matter at all. Please, you are the lawyer. Tell us exactly what is going on.
So the thing is, for land matters, essentially, if you are looking to buy a land, purchase a land, and you need to do your due, you will find all the records pertaining to the ownership of that land, which allows her. So if the land is encumbered, you go from the records at the land registry. If the land encumbrances, you will know at the land registry.
Okay.
So what surprises me essentially is that by the time the church went to Alausa to do a search, they would have met a subsisting C of O in the name of the school. It will be there in the file to show that there is an existing ownership with respect to this particular land.
Yes.
So what now happened?
That they were issued a second one.
How come?
What I was saying regarding that is that, we are in Nigeria. We know how some of these things
No, but please, Mr. Adedoyin, no, that is not Nigeria.
We also understand that
Nigeria.
C of O's are only issued by the governor.
Yes, I withdraw that. And what I will say is that this was granted, this new C of O by this issued to this, or purportedly issued to the church, was in 2012. And you can essentially find out who was in government at the time, the individuals in government at the time, the individuals at the registry at the time. So
at what time did the old boys receive their own C of O? What year was that?
So the school received the C of O as far back as October 1983.
Okay. Thankfully, Chifano Mokun is still around. He's still alive. He said he was PermSec at the time, so he does have some history. So I'm guessing you're also saying now that there are questions to answer as to how the church was able to get another CFO in 2012 for an expensive cost of ₦1.
Yes.
Okay.
No, so they transferred that land. So what I said, so they floated a company, an investment company. So because they couldn't do this through the church, they floated an investment company called J. Wesley Company Limited, and now transferred that property to J. Wesley Investment Limited. And these individuals now made themselves shareholders in that company, just for them to be able to carry out all of these things. So they essentially changed the purpose of use from educational purpose to residential purpose.
Well, I understand that it is the governor of a state in Nigeria that has to sign the CFO, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So was the governor deceived?
Well, I want to believe so, because the CFO the CFO that the church purportedly got from Lagos State government was actually signed by the governor at the time.
Okay.
It was signed by the governor at the time, yes.
I can only speculate that the governor did not have the entire picture in front of him when he signed the second CFO.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he was not informed that there was already an existing CFO for the same piece of land.
Anyway, well, we have to just thank you, and because let's just also put it on record, we have reached out to the church, to the Methodist Church in question, and they promised that they will speak on the matter at the appropriate time. I don't know if there is a more appropriate time than now that you have come. The church does have a right of reply, and we are happy to host them as well on this matter.
In the meantime, we ask you to please keep us abreast happenings regarding the land, because we are interested in things educational.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We've been chatting with Engineer Mobolaji Akinsoya Brown, who is the president of the Old Boys Association of Methodist Boys High School, as well as Mr. Adegoke Adedoyin, who is the lawyer for the Old Boys, regarding the issue of the church versus the school. Thank you very much. Sunrise will be right back, and we'll be talking lifestyle.
Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tunes. Easy too much, it's not too much. I wanna make them forces, if wishes were horses. Easy too much, it's not too much. If I want money, I do what I got to say. If I want money, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all by me. I wanna be a billionaire, I wanna be a billionaire,
That's a lot of money. Now I want you to tell me, what are you going to do with it?
I wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini, the Bonito Sicily. Oh, yeah. If I want money, I'll do all kinds of things. If I want money, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all by me. Yes.
Which one do you want to?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. All right, all the friends that are available, who's more likely to answer this question?
Well, my friend, Brother Shaggy.
Brother Shaggy?
Yes.
Who's he?
He's my friend from high school, from secondary school.
All right, let's not waste time. Let's put Brother Shaggy on the line, shall we?
Okay. Hello, Shaggy.
Hello.
Alpha Natani. I didn't know who wants to be a billionaire. I beg, help me. I say I need your help right now. I beg.
Okay, I don't calm down. What's happening?
Okay. Listen to the question.
What is a group of tigers called?
Tiger. Okay, where? Tiger, plenty. What's it that you call them? Green here, where Tiger Woods. Okay, what's the option? Where did you?
Here are the options: congregation, parliament.
That's the House of Assembly. That one will be answer. What's be another one? Where did you?
School, ambush. Your time starts now.
Ambush. That ambush is going to be. That ambush, oh yeah, because if they say ambush, oh yeah, that's like that's a way tiger walk. Tiger is, tiger they walk inside the bush, oh yeah. Tiger in the ambush. Ambush in the tiger, oh yeah, because they won't say what. Where to see tiger is a gather, oh yeah, it is called an ambush. Tiger. Hello.
Bye.
So, after that conversation, what conclusion have you come
to? Ambush.
Yes. Here it is. If you went for congregation, you would have been wrong. If you went for school, you would have been wrong. But you went for ambush. And now here's the moment of truth. Ambush. I'm sorry. Ambush was not incorrect. It was right.
Well, we're coming from 1 billionaire, and then we now get to that picture at $1 billion plate. Oh, it shined.
That plate that I saw just now?
It's $1 billion.
Yeah, I think I saw a teddy bear sitting inside too. Oh, was it not a teddy bear?
It's a teddy sandwich.
Oh, teddy sandwich.
Teddy sandwich.
Okay.
See?
You see, eyes. I need to change my glasses.
Just a quick update that...
please. My glasses, thank you.
Well, elections are ongoing right now in various parts of Nigeria. We can report to you that voting is underway in Ward 6, Unit 7 of Odo-Osun 1, Shaki West local government area of Oyo State. I'll find the details of that. Just to let you know, that elections are going on in various parts of Nigeria. 26 as at the last count that we mentioned to you earlier. I just wanted to let you know that.
And we had a report from Surulere local government earlier in the program.
This is Oyo, somewhere in Oyo State, where this election is going on right now.
Well, it seems to be a good turnout here.
Well, it seems to be a good turnout here.
200 people.
Perhaps the people are well mobilized. Well, this is maybe 1 or 2 wards, and that is actually good, right? If we had this, okay, this is the one that I just talked about. This is...
We should actually make this a topic for discussion. Why don't Nigerians like to vote?
No, we like to vote. But these elections, that we understand this is somewhere in Bauchi State, Bakaro Primary School. It's a polling unit in Bauchi. We do like voting.
But you see... We've had bad experiences.
No. Who are we voting for? It's a question many people don't even know.
You go out and people are chasing you with cutlasses.
I mean, you don't even know the person you're voting for. You don't know the person. For instance, I don't know if you, for instance, okay, this is Benue. It's, as you can see, everything is calm.
Orderly.
Gumawan State constituent. That's so it is a House of Assembly by-election ongoing right now.
Very scanty.
But it's better than nothing. It's better than the first one we saw.
We'll take this. We'll take this.
Take this.
Yes.
I mean, it's a $1 billion this thing. Okay, this is Lagos. Don't forget that movement is restricted in Surulere, and so this is Surulere. People can walk around, but you can't drive around. If you want to drive into Surulere, you are not allowed. That's why there's this stoppage all across the nation. This is the update that we have for you. There's Taraba elections also ongoing there. People don't even know who to vote for. That's the challenge. Okay, so who are we going to vote for?
Who is there to choose from, please? So you go there and you just mo.
Well, it could be argued that if you are in the local government area, you would know. They'll probably have their posters here and there.
Okay.
But perhaps the general information of the general mobilization of the people, I think that is the challenge. Political parties, you were asking who should be doing the mobilization earlier. Political parties have that responsibility of mobilizing voters. INEC has a responsibility of educating.
Okay, mobilizing, educating. Okay. Learn a new word every day, like we said at the beginning of the program. Yes.
Well, this is Oyo State. Okay. Security agencies, agents, I presume, getting ready to.
This is local election.
That's quite the turnout. It's quite the turnout.
No wonder there's so many security agencies or agents around.
Yeah. Am I seeing? Is that EFCC? I don't know. So I'm just saying, why are you looking at me like that?
Well, to catch vote buyers.
Who's selling? Okay. So, well, that's part of what is ongoing right now. Different parts of the nation, 26 states we mentioned to you earlier. Subsequent bulletins and subsequent content on the station will let you know what is going on in different parts of the country. We still have some time to go out and vote. This is 11:04. That's 5 minutes past 11. So, if people are voting in your area, please go out and vote. It is safe. At least test the system to see whether or not it is working. It is not just in your own interest, it's in the interest of your children as well. And that's why, by the way, our next conversation on lifestyle is about children. Alera was talking about Teddy Bear the other time. Well, don't blame her. The last time she had to put children in a vehicle to go to school, so it's a little while ago. But
like I said, I have no secrets. Go ahead, tell them my age.
No, you told us yourself 2 years ago, so you're just a 7-year-old. Is this 17? I don't know. Anyway, you want your child to eat healthy? But do you know that? Do you know the nutrients that are needed for their nutrition? By the way, why they don't like vegetables, I have no idea.
Because they don't taste good.
Because they don't taste good.
I still don't like vegetables.
But you eat edikaiko.
I eat them because I have to.
No wonder. Please, let's talk to a child nutritionist with us this morning. Ezeha Bolaji Olojo is a nutritionist, certified child nutrition expert with she's also an advanced nutrition expert and health coach. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Again. Good morning, Lady Alera. It's
You're looking so bright and happy to be here. With all the calories in her hair, you take us back a long time, even before I was born.
I actually thought those were almonds. I could just pluck them. Hey, you were saying something.
Someone's hungry.
Yes, I am. No doubt about it. Nutrition for children. Let me ask you, I mean, having done some work in that space, how much of a concern is it?
Oh, goodness. I love the question because I feel like everybody should be talking about child nutrition and the impact, not just now, but for the future of our children. Currently now, there's a health crisis globally. Whether it's the United Nations speaking, UNICEF, everybody is talking about it. Childhood obesity and other very, very completely missable.
We know what's causing the obesity, don't we?
Oh, we do. We're going to have a conversation about that. So whether it's, everybody's talking about it. And the beautiful thing is that if we create enough awareness, we can actually push it back. Even though it's almost at pandemic levels, we can push it back. Because what we do now, you were talking about, we're not just voting for our people. For now, we're voting for the future of our children. The way I look at health is when we do the right things for our children now, we future-proof their health, which is really important. Because in the health crisis, which is worsening, drugs alone will fail. So we can't just say, oh, we will take drugs. Because there are times, I don't know if anyone can relate, there are times when you're taking drugs, but it's not working as much because it's a holistic approach we must now take to fighting disease, especially diet-related health conditions. So we take our drugs, yes. However, we can be proactive, meaning that we start to use food as preventative medicine, especially for our children, so that all of the crises would not affect them so much as they grow older.
First of all, okay, I've asked that question, how much of a problem is it? So, how much aware are parents and caregivers to children about this concern that you've expressed?
So in my work as a health coach, I work with a lot of families and mothers, and I would say that from the beginning, somehow we have been schooled in the wrong information. So it almost looks like when your children start to go to school, there's just some things we want to put in their lunch boxes. It's like Holy Grail. There are things that we think must be in their lunch boxes. So we put it there. However, one thing I like to say is ask yourself why. For example, why do we have those packaged drinks in our children's lunch boxes?
How would they know that we can afford it if we don't put it?
Exactly, Mr. A.
That's the reason why we put it?
Sometimes that's the reason why. Because it's just normal. I mean, your children open their lunch boxes and we don't have these drinks. It's almost like they're deprived of something.
So we should be putting in water, right?
We should be putting in water, and we should start that right early. Because I personally did not start it early. I was also a victim. Once my children, I have 2 kids, once my kids started school, of course, as a happening mom, how would they know? I had to show. So I remember going and buying all of that in cartons.
Yes, of
Please.
Course. Of course.
And I'll put it. But when I started to ask, why? Like, who told me to do this? Because there's no handbook that says this must happen.
Yeah.
And when I flipped it for my children, it was like war in my house.
What are you talking about?
Because my kiddos are like, everybody else is bringing it.
Yeah.
And they felt deprived. Like, Mommy, why? I mean, this is now maybe 5 years ago. But now the good thing is that even schools are coming into that level of awareness and equipping through policies the parents, meaning that there are legitimately schools in Nigeria, in Lagos today, who do not have a junk food policy, meaning no junk is allowed in the school.
Well, it so happens that I found reason to just buy these things that you normally buy in the previous school, and then my wife goes, you don't accept those things, no snacks. I say, eh? Why? Initially, it's either you bring fruits and water with their food, or you bring nothing. Said, that saves me money.
Yes.
Only for me to find out that actually the fruits themselves ain't.
Mr. A.
You know, when I was growing up, there were things which we ate. Okay, there was no junk at that time, so we ate good food. But I'm not sure that we had the kind of nourishment which we needed. So whereas we had a lot more children who had polio, a lot more children who had, well, things that people don't even know about these days, things like Jiga and all that. I'm sure you don't even know what that is. To now, you telling us now that children are unhealthy, but they're not unhealthy like children of my days were unhealthy. They are healthy on the other side of the spectrum. I mean, I'm trying to get all that in. Whereas they were thin then because of lack of nourishment, now they are obese because of eating the wrong things. I'm trying to, sort all that one out in my brain. So, the children are eating better now, right?
Maybe eating more?
Well, eating more and eating more of the wrong things.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
That's a beautiful dynamic because studies actually show now within Nigeria, we don't have a lot of statistics in Nigeria, but there's actually a study within Nigeria that shows that the higher the socioeconomic status of a family goes,
the more junk
they eat. Junk. I'm like you're saying, Lady Alero, we literally are equipped with the finances and the wherewithal
to kill ourselves,
nourish our children better. Because now we can have, if you have the money, like you were talking of how expensive fruits are, there's some that are really fancy and expensive. We can invest in that direction. However, we're using the money to buy disease and sickness for our children. And that's why I say we should stop and ask why. Can I give this analogy? Can I go ahead with the analogy?
Yes.
So if you, and it happens to all of us, you pay for something with an ATM card. Sometimes you don't get the debit alert immediately. So you're still dealing with the former amount in your card.
Yes.
And especially end of the month. I mean, we're in that season
and
now.
Then suddenly the alert comes in.
So
and it destabilizes you.
Imagine that we keep taking these decisions that are not healthy for our children. But sometimes we're not even seeing the impact. Doesn't mean the impact is not there. Doesn't mean your account balance did not go down. You just didn't get the alert. One day the alert will come. And that's what it is for our children. Because their parents who are probably listening and saying, oh, but my kids are fine. For years, they've been taking it.
Yeah, they look fine.
They look
Until
fine.
you open the app, then you now see the back.
Mr. A, you went there before me. If you want to know how things really are, open the app. Go take your children. And that's something we don't do. Lady A, you would agree with me that you do your health checks, right? As we grow older, I do my health checks. But how many times do we do it for our children?
Oh, they're fine.
They're children. They don't need health checks.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Sometimes, really, parents have a tough time persuading their kids to eat certain things. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Vegetables.
It has just been there.
It's not me. She said it.
It's you.
It's not me.
It's you.
Now, so in that space, what are the options open to parents?
Okay.
We've had a parent here, you remember, who said she would incentivize the children to take vegetables.
Don't say incentivize. Bribe. You're speaking grammar.
Oh my
Bribe
God.
the children to eat vegetables. If you eat this, you will get this.
I didn't did it.
Yes.
She did. Anyway, so in that space, the parents themselves have to go to work. They're already running late. The father already went. The mother is trying to get ready. You understand? She's been there. She has been there. Let's just put it nicely like that. And they don't want to, for parents who don't want to leave it all to the house help or the caregivers and all, they want to do some of these things themselves, and you still have to do the arduous work of persuading your child to eat what is good for them. Here we go.
Okay. Before I even get into that, because that's hard work, and I have been there. I remember putting stuff in my kid's mouth, and he's just putting it in and in. And when I'm done, he's just like, he just projectile vomits everything on me. I'm like,
oh, God.
Don't worry, I understand that look.
So, before we even talk about what to do there, I want to beg every mom of young children, please start early. Because if we start early, we will make the work so much easier. And because I coach and train moms, I've seen it. I've seen children who like broccoli and who like carrots and who prefer fruits.
Pause.
For real.
Pause. My kids, you know, we buy these fruits sometimes. My kids will say, I don't want broccoli. I didn't give it to you in the first place. So don't make, whatever it is about yourself. Kids like these vegetables you're talking about?
No kidding. My children right now, they don't have so much of an option because I've done that switch, even though it was hard. So the first thing I would say, the first thing I would say is please don't start down the wrong path. It's just easier. Of course, we all know that it's easier to start on the right path than to
correct.
Yes, it's a lot. Now, if this has happened, the first thing I'm going to say is it is going to be hard. I feel like if we know from the beginning, any lifestyle change is hard for adults and for children. Notoriously hard. So when psychologists look at these changes, lifestyle changes, we literally rank, and I say we because I'm going in that direction too, we literally rank eating healthy, learning to eat healthy with quitting smoking. That's how hard, because those are lifestyle changes, and they're major. So when a mom or a dad goes into this thing like, this is going to be a fight, this is going to be hard, I feel like it gives you the first momentum to even go on. That's number one. Number two, you are going to have to be patient. It won't change immediately. You can be on the journey for a year, and it's okay.
A year?
Yes. Because it's a year that's seed in the ground.
A year to tell my children to eat the right thing that I can afford.
There must be a way that mothers make those vegetables to make them attractive to children.
And I was going to also get to that place. So, I just wanted to speak to the mindset we bring to it first, because sometimes we just think, oh, it's going to be easy. For some children, they're fantastic. The flip and the switch is easy, but for some, it's not.
But for some, it's
not.
forever.
For many.
Like me.
No, if I walk with you, Lady A, I promise you, if I walk, I don't only talk to children.
I found a solution.
Okay.
I do a lot of salads.
Oh, I love it. You're getting it in.
You can't get me to eat, what is that thing called? That's
broccoli?
No. That Hausa soup, that Calabar soup that a lot of Eddie Kaikong. You can't get me to eat it if you paid me in dollars.
Why?
I can't eat it.
Why is that?
I just don't like vegetables when they've gone brown.
Okay, so back to the children. Another thing I've learned working with a lot of moms is there are many ways to get it done. Sometimes we're just stuck in the traditional way. For example, when my kids too didn't want carrots, and because I didn't start on time too, they didn't want carrots and all. Guess what I started to do? I would blend it all in and put it in the stew.
Chicken,
They're getting exactly what they need.
Chicken,
and you know what happens? We're also training their taste buds. to like it and to enjoy it. And please, we have to put in effort to cooking our children's food. You have to literally cook it with love. So when I do things like that, yes. And when I do things like that, my children are getting exactly what they need, even though not in the conventional form. These days, bless God for YouTube. If you sit with YouTube and then you want to learn to bake, there are healthier ways to bake, almost stealthy ways to include all of the healthy things into what we're baking. And your children pick it. And they're like, wow, this is really yummy. And they don't know that it's all healthy, which is why I said it takes time. There's trial, there's error, there's frustration, there's tears. I've cried too. But it's like, no, let me just take it to the next level. The day a doctor tells you that if you do not change this child's diet, you lose the child, you would immediately make room for it.
Of course.
But why do we want to wait to get there? My point is, and that's why I shout a lot about this thing, we all need to become proactive for the sake of our children. So, first of all, if you haven't started, please don't start at all. As you have your babies, train them up right from the beginning. Put them on the straight and narrow when it comes to healthy eating. If your children are already varying in that direction, please recognize that it's going to take time and it's going to be hard. It's a lifestyle change. Be patient. Try many things. Let technology help you. Use tech. We didn't have it, Lady A, you were talking about the olden days. We didn't have technology, but today we have it. So once we come in with that mindset and we're armed with practical tools, I can assure you that your children will change. Children are malleable.
You know how babies used to be fed in those days?
Tell me.
You lie the baby on your lap. And then
Force feeding?
Yes. I mean, I look at that now and I wonder, were they trying to kill those children?
Did it work?
But honestly, the children used to eat and throw up when they were crying all the time, and half the time they were there naked. You didn't see them with any clothes on.
I don't know where you grew up from, but my mommy will give you food, and you will vomit it, and you eat it.
You eat the vomit.
You will just know. Some of them are watching right now. They're like, my mommy will give you food. And you just say, in fact, we know when children want to vomit, they're looking at the parents. Like, just be looking at you.
Just take it back in.
The boy you were.
Bring it up. But, Mr. A, you know that there are children like that now. We're not necessarily force-feeding them, but we've trained them. So there was a program I did last year, and I had to interview various moms. And some of the feedback, we had moms who legitimately said their children have been trained to receive, so far it's not allergic, and you're not going to die from it, to receive whatever is put in front of them and give thanks. There are parents like that. Because I've let you know that I'm running I'm not running a hotel at home where you get to pick what you want. So there are legitimately children who today, in love, not because they're afraid, not because, but because this is how their parents have trained them, that what we put in front of you, you receive
grateful for,
and you give
because
thanks.
there are many who don't have anything to eat.
That's a very wonderful one to look at there, but can you help me understand this? Many parents grew up in a particular way. Just as we are saying now, she just remembered or helped us to remember force feeding. There are some who are right now having that
nightmare.
Yes. That traumatic experiences playing back in their heads.
Yes.
Like, how did we survive? So some parents they grew up that way, and they're wondering how it is difficult for their own children to simply just eat what you are served.
Full stop.
Why do I have to
Save me the
negotiate
stress
with you? Help parents understand their own kids. You asked the question why the other time. Many people don't even know why we need to have children. So, help us to understand why you have to, as the Igbo man will say, negotiate. Help us understand why there is the need for that conversation with children these days. Help parents understand. And, okay, go that one first before we talk about how they can manage their time.
Okay. Oh, I love that question. Why did you even bring it in at all? Because you just got my head spinning. Okay. When it comes to how we feed our children and all of that, you know that negotiation doesn't only happen at the dining table over food. Children are smarter and wiser these days. So they're negotiating many things with us. My kids were negotiating a tab recently with me, and I heard all kinds of things. I was just tired, like, Mommy, why can we not? Mommy. So I love it because it frees up their creativity. It makes them more confident. We don't want to say, because I said so. If I say that, I'm just being a lazy mom, because I can engage my children in conversation. So the same way we have those conversations around, oh, can I go to this friend's house, or can I go to this party, or can I get a tab or a phone? It's okay to actually have negotiations over food. Because, yes, it's okay, because that's it. That's the way I treat my children, as people who are actually going to be adults. So when you ask me why, if I don't know, I will get my phone and say, okay, let's look at it. Let's look at what the statistics are saying. Let us see what I would show them, literally pictures of people in hospitals as a result of this. I show them all of that. Our children, we all know that children these days are way smarter. They come out smart. So you use technology to show them.
Yeah, they come with technology in their brain.
What are they called again?
AI Gen.
Alpha generation. Gen Zs.
No, we're talking lower than Gen Zs.
No, alphas are the
newborns.
Alphas
Yes.
from 2010 till now.
2010.
Okay.
So those
generation.
okay. So yours are alphas.
Yes, oh, sure.
Over Sabis. They came with computers in their hands.
For real. So it's okay to educate them. So they're seeing all of this information online. They know why this is important to them. So we can't just let our children say, because I said so. Because I said so is not going to fly anymore. So I think the parents, it's okay for me to, I'm a health mindset coach. One of the things I do a lot is to get into the mind of people. So when I tell the mom that it's okay for my children to ask me, Mommy, why am I taking this? Mommy, why is everybody bringing this and I'm not bringing it? Because if you keep telling them, because I said so, or we shut them up, we're doing something to their self-esteem.
In fact, we didn't even get round to getting to the point where we asked why.
It's different.
You did it because Mom said do it, full stop. You didn't ask why. Who born you to they ask why?
Mommy, why?
Why?
My daddy will just...
Why?
Backhand. No. My daddy will just say, go to that corner. You know what to do.
Put your hand up.
Once you know, that's leisurely. Once my daddy says, go to that corner, hold your two ears like this.
Oh, God.
Go down.
Tokum.
Yes, time management.
Froggy.
Yes, so let me land on that thought, if it's okay. So when we come with that mindset to our children and you're bringing them along, the children have ownership to the process. These are things that we see in adulthood. Why would you adhere to something, Mr. A? Because you feel like, oh, I was a part of the process. I was carried along, which is why it's so important that we bring our kids into the cooking process. Don't just put it in front of them. I tell my children, come, I have just boys. Come, stay with me in the kitchen. Let's do this together. The more they're carried along in the process, adherence is higher. So don't exclude them and just bring it to the table. Bring them in. And it's interesting because I'm authoring a book with my children on child nutrition. And it's amazing the ideas that they bring to the table because they're really smart. So some of the problems and challenges we have, the solution is even with our children. Bring them into the process and we'll see miracles literally happen.
Okay, well, someone has reacted to you saying, Isiaha is very respectful, making sure she doesn't call Makinde Ayo and Alere Edu by name. Child of God must show good behavior.
Oh, my God.
I didn't say that.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, now, to the time management thing.
Yes.
Her time is choked. She's a mother, but she's first of all a wife. She's a career woman. She's also a child, probably, to some parent somewhere. And she has friends. She has a social whatever. She has an organization, perhaps possibly have a boss to report to. And I have to
she's running an organization herself.
Running an organization herself that she's responsible to some people. And I have to be respectful to some minions.
To some million. Oh, your children. Mr. A. Okay. So the question, I want to get it clearly.
How does she manage her time?
How does she manage her time? I like to do the math. It's because I don't just run into situations. I do the math. Literally, how we have papers here, I would bring out a solid paper and do the math. And even though I have the privilege of being a mom who works from home and runs her own business, I have friends who have to work for other people and their time is not theirs, and they have their time is not 100% theirs, and they have children and they have other responsibilities in addition to being a wife.
They have husbands.
Yes, in addition to being a wife. So the most important thing is to do the math first of all. Bring a paper, do the math. What are the things most important to you in this season? One thing I know, and I have a friend who, it was an intention, and I'm not saying that people should do this, it was an intentional decision to take a break from her career and take care of her children for some years. And after that, she was happy to go back. I'm not saying that.
I did that.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So first of all, there's a mindset. There's something you have to tell yourself to actually do that. So some people can do that. Bring it out. What is important to me in this season? My children will not be children forever. And sometimes when we bring a lot of energy to the process, meaning give it attention, intensity, we shortcut how long it would take. So maybe it would have taken us such a longer time to do it, but we bring intensity, we bring energy to the process. Somehow we shorter. What is important to me? I've had friends literally would take leave, and all they're doing is not to travel. They're like, I want to sort out the kitchen of my home. Let me get my help, my nanny, my cook, my domestic help. Let me get them and teach them how I want them to go. Christmas time, they're not traveling. They're sitting down and putting systems and structures within their home. It's what is important to me, Mr. A. The same thing too. I choose to say I will get a driver, or I'll get a nanny that is not just, a regular help, but someone who is educated. Then I'm in partnership with that person to instill the kind of values, especially food values, I want around my home. So you see, the conversation has elevated. Now I'm looking for partners. Now I'm using my money because, why? We're career women, we go outside the home, so definitely we're making a little bit more money. Now, how can I use that money to help my children? It's a sophisticated thinking process. And I want to give parents the permission to think like that. What is important to me? And if it's not important to me, I can take it out of my plate for now. If I decide that my children and their health and their nutrition is important to me, I would make room for it. I mean, even for things like how much time we spend on social media, what time we sleep. Because look at the mornings. A lot of times we're rushed in the mornings. There's a lot of compromise with breakfast because we're just trying to get the children out of the door and keep ourselves sane. One thing that I do for my children is their bedtime is so early, 6:30 p.m. We don't always make it, but by 7:30 tops, they're asleep. What it means is that when we wake up, and of course, just the simple things of, there's something called mise en place. It's used in the culinary world, where a chef, before he starts to cook, everything, he or she starts to cook, everything is laid out. So we're not looking for the onions and the garlic and something is burning.
She's speaking French to you.
Yes, mise en place.
Mise en place.
So
which means literally put in place.
Put in place.
You see? Isn't that easier?
But there's no such expression in English.
So put in place is not an expression?
No, sir. It doesn't carry the weight. Yeah, so put everything in place. So when we wake up, what are they eating? What are they packing in their lunch boxes? Everything is ready. You wake up empowered to actually go and win the day. We're not rushing. We're not compromising.
Okay.
And that's very important.
For those who are wondering what the English we are speaking is all about, please describe a sensible, healthy lunchbox.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So
you can literally see the lunchbox right now.
So that I zoned down.
You mean the way your eyes went?
Like,
yes. I saw it. Oh, goodness. So we have something called My Plate. I'm just going to use global best practices. So in the US, we have something called My Plate, which is basically a nice representation of what should be in the child's plate at every meal. So My Plate is divided in, I wish I could just show that picture. My Plate is divided into 4 parts. Okay. And they're not equal, but they're 4 parts. In the first part, you have healthy grains, or what we call carbohydrates. But healthy carbohydrates. At this point, you're thinking
in this environment, such as
yes,
what?
At this point, you're thinking rice, but I'm thinking more brown rice.
Okay.
We can start to have that conversation, but let's say rice. There's beans. I know a lot of us think beans is protein, but it's a lot of carb.
But you know that children don't like beans.
Oh goodness, I want to argue with that, Mr. A, because beans.
It depends on how you cook it.
Yes.
You're speaking English.
No, Mr. A, I deal with children.
I have children.
And there's no food that every child likes.
Let me shock you. I think I was the only child on the face of God's earth who loved cod liver oil growing up.
Wow.
I could not eat rice or yam with stew. It had to be cod liver oil.
Like no stew?
Take that.
Just rice and cod liver oil?
Yeah.
Yes. There's a wide spectrum. People will be at different ends.
All of a sudden, there is a spectrum now.
I was the only child in this world because no child could stand cod liver oil.
At some point, my younger brother said he does not eat yam. Found out later that the only reason he doesn't want to eat yam is because he didn't want to be the one to peel it because it seems to scratch his body. You were saying something about it.
Okay, so there's rice.
All kinds of tricks.
There's potato. There's yam. You just mentioned that. So that kind of covers for the healthy grains.
That's the one
part of the plate, yes.
Part 2.
The second part of the plate will be healthy proteins. So that's where you want to put the animal protein if you're giving your children that. So there's fish. There's chicken. As much as possible, limit red meat. Because you have alternatives. It's not like so limited. We can do fish, we can chicken, we can do goat's meat. It's one of the leanest and one of the healthiest for the children. And this is not just for children, but we're zoning in on children, right? So there's that healthy protein.
Okay.
Now on the
part 3.
On the third part of the plate, we have fruits. Eat the rainbow. Just go as wide and as far and as lovely as you want. Let them eat the rainbow. I'm saying these things have to be on their plate. So whether they're taking oranges, tangerines, apples, there has to be something that your children love and enjoy. The more colorful, the better. Now on the fourth part of the plate.
Sorry, go on.
Divided into 4 now.
Yes, my plate is 4. Let me run through it again, Mr. A.
Now, buffet.
No.
Go, please, go.
And I'll take it really practical when I'm done, so we see how easy it can be. And on the fourth part of the plate will be vegetables. Lady Aleros, I don't like vegetables, but any kind of vegetables, carrots, cabbage, cucumbers, anything that works for your children. Like I said, there are ways to incorporate it into. So now imagine one plate. You have yam. Let's use yam as an example. You're giving your children yam to school, boiled yam, put in the plate. Now you have stew. Remember tomatoes, they're vegetable too. And then maybe you have put carrots and all of that into it. You blended it in. Then you made egg sauce. That's a healthy protein that you have put in there. And you can choose to add fish, a little bit of fish to the food. Or the egg is already fine, right? You put all of that there. And then you give them a fruit, tangerine, orange, banana, because you can't really take watermelon to school just for preservation. You have to be careful what you give them to school because you don't want any kind of issues.
Yes.
Now that is a healthy plate. Boiled yam, stew, egg sauce, which is made with stew, and you put some veggies in it, and then you put a fruit. And you're good, that's it. It could be potatoes, it could be beans and plantain too. And then just I do this, I put carrots. You shred the carrots into small, put it right into the beans, and then everybody just enjoys it. That's what should be there. And guess what is outside the healthy plate? Water. Do you know that, legitimately, the United Nations tells us that children, in fact, there are other organizations that go as far as 5 years old. Children under the ages of 5 should only have water and milk. Like they're not supposed to have any other drink.
And milk.
Water, and this is standard organizations. They're saying this is what children should have. So when you've put that nice food in their lunchbox, you put water or milk. I didn't even know. So when I started to talk to global educators, in some countries, you're not even allowed to bring in anything else. For them, it's like they have reasons for doing it, but you only bring water and milk to school. That's what children are allowed to bring. So it's not a status thing. It's not a status thing. It's a healthy thing.
So how much are schools in Nigeria adhering to this?
So the good thing about that is that for some schools, it's even compulsory. You can't.
Water.
Yes, you can. So when the child brings any other thing, the good thing is that there's always water in the school. So for my children's school, they have days that you're allowed to bring only fruits and water. If you bring any kind of junk, they put it back in your lunchbox and send it home to you.
No, but suppose you're giving them freshly squeezed oranges in a water bottle.
Okay, that's fine, but I think about it this way. How many hours are children in school? And how many hours are they at home? They can have the healthy squeezed orange juice at home. And especially because fruits don't have a long shelf life. Actually, foods were not made to have a long shelf life. You start to know what is unhealthy and not very healthy by how long the shelf life is. So I give you oranges, freshly squeezed, and how many schools are going to put it in the fridge and then not have any child taking another child's own and all of that?
It's in my water bottle.
But not many schools will put it in the fridge. Plus, you want to protect your child. You don't just want to put it in this public place. So imagine that I have the fruit juice or even a smoothie right there, and then something happens to it and it gets bad. I can give my children that at home. So my kiddo school will send it right back to you. And then the good thing is that there's water in the school. So we can drink as much water as we want.
Allow me to...
The picture. The picture.
Are you seeing it?
Your teddy bear. Your teddy bear sandwich.
You've told us some of the bad behavior, bad lifestyle behaviors that we let's call it what it is. You heard her say the other time, it's not incentive, it's bribe. Okay. Now, there is something that I don't know how prominent it is. You are also a fitness coach.
Yes, I am.
Fitness for children is hardly talked about. Have you heard about that before? Fitness for children.
Because they're so active anyway. I was going to say, they're so active.
Now, I'm talking about intentional fitness for children.
Is it because the child is obese or what?
No. But at least...
As a lifestyle.
Yes.
As a lifestyle.
Okay, so I just recently instituted something at home. They are always jumping around the place. I said every day, 6 p.m., even if it is for just 10 minutes, let there be some kind of exercise routine. I got home yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? My daughter was saying, did you do exercise yesterday? And yes, she did. She was telling me that they did, what's that thing?
Press up.
Is it press up you people call
Push up.
it? Push-ups.
Push-ups.
See, even me, I cannot do one. What you can do. And I was excited. But tell us, because as you grow older, the challenge is you won't do it. I know. You swim and then you play tennis.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
When did they start?
Push up. No, they've always played tennis. Thank you.
We know. So tell us about that. Because I'm saying that because essentially what you're saying is people need to start the children on a routine that they will get used to and grow up, up with that. So many people cannot do one push-up now because they didn't even know what it meant until about 5 or 6 years ago. So tell us about that for children.
I love it. So we're not going to discount what Lady Alera said about they play a lot. They're already very active.
No, certainly.
Because that's very important. When I was growing up, we had the privilege of playing downstairs, right? We would run around with all kinds of things. And that's really, it's not just play, it's exercise. It's doing something for the heart. However, these days, for security issues or maybe for time constraint, we would not necessarily take our children. I do it intentionally down. So For example, today, my boys are registered in a football academy. So as I was coming here, my husband was taking all of them to the football academy. That's something we can do, right? Another thing we can do, and a lot of parents don't know this, we do it at home. On YouTube, there are exercises for children. And they're fun and they're happy, and even children have smartwatches for them. That's such a motivation for any child, because they can see like, oh, I want to make sure, and you know, children walk. We're still trying to hit 10,000 steps. Our children can take 22,000
without even thinking about
it. Moving. So when you get your children the smartwatch, the sports watch, is such a motivation, because they're like, oh my goodness, I have to make whatever number of steps. Then you get on YouTube, buy them workout wears. You have to motivate them on this thing. And these are things I do. My children have workout wears, right down to the shoes, so that we can work out at home. As a family, you can take walks. It's almost a tradition in my home. There are days when we get up and we take these long walks. And don't underestimate your children, because they can walk. They can just take water.
That is if they're even patient enough to walk.
How do you mean?
And not run.
Exactly, exactly. Just hold them well because of the roads. Like, just hold them well. So there's that. Then I like to say that if there's some kind of reward chart for it, because children are very motivated by rewards and incentives. So imagine just having a chart where we're like, if you work out 5 times a week, we tick, we tick, we tick, we tick, and then you reward them with something. Please don't reward children with junk, because sometimes they're like, if you do all of this, I'll give you a drink. I'm like, no, there are many other rewards.
I'll buy you ice cream.
Exactly. I'm like, why are we doing that? So when the children, my children are healthily competitive, they want to see those tricks.
You can get half hour of computer time.
All kinds of
rewards, especially, you know, if that hour of computer time is very targeted, you know, you're using it to achieve something. Yes. So whatever reward is, so I've talked about various things. Get on YouTube. You see the children doing the videos. So it's not like adults are leading, the children are doing the videos. So it's such motivation for your own children. Take walks as a family, take walks, just grab water, please. Take walks as a family, get them workout wears, get them, if they're old enough, you can get them like smartwatches for children. Then use reward charts so that they can see their progress. Then truly give them some kind of incentive. But where possible, let them also play downstairs.
Now, the reason I raised that as an issue is because, as you said, we had the privilege of rolling tires on the roads and throwing sticks and playing football, omoliri, on the road, felele. You don't even know what those are. Don't worry, we are boys. You know, so we had those privileges. Irrespective of what part of the country is, people were able to do those things. But today, as you identified, you lock up the compound.
Security.
Today, in most cases, most homes don't have the privilege of a spacious compound. And where there is a spacious compound, cars are parked there already. So they only have their rooms or living rooms to do those things. That's why I asked that question. So you're going to expatiate a little further on it. Where you have space constraints, and you find it, you're looking at your children in another 10, 15, 20 years, and you want them to be healthy. You want them to have a routine that is healthily competitive, that they will be healthy, they will be happy, they will not be depressed, because I know that exercises helps people to get over a number of things. So that's the reason. In the event of a constraint of space, constraint of time, how do we go about that?
Okay. The goal is to make it a lifestyle, right? Where we don't.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. But I'm happy to also start small. If we can't get it done, I mean, standard practice is 5 times a week workout. You don't have to work out 7 times a week. So if we can't get it done 5 days, in fact, before I go there, let's go to schools, because break time in school is so important. And then these days is also beginning to be compromised, where they sit in the class for break. So you must have a conversation with your children's school and insist that when it's time for break, please let them go downstairs, because the school will always have some space to run and to play. And every school has sports days at least once a week. So make sure that they're doing something in those sports days and, of course, at break time. Now, when it comes to making it a lifestyle, and then there's space constraints and then there's time constraints, can you take out one day in a week? Just start. Don't wait till it's perfect. Don't wait till you have all those days. Go around your neighborhood. You would always find somewhere that has a field, that has this open space. It is everywhere. The good thing is that some estates these days intentionally build playgrounds right into the estate. But sometimes even the field of a school, that you can just let them just go around and exercise. Take walks with your children. Just hold them. I'm very particular about holding them well, because listen, they can just, it's very important. Safety, and then even just accidents, you want to be careful of that. So take what you have. The beautiful thing is that once you start, momentum is built, and then you start to find other ways. Take your one day a week. Insist that the school...
They will be the ones to remind you.
Yes.
Mommy, aren't we going for a walk today?
I'm telling you.
Your
one day,
my accountability partners.
My daughter was 5. I think around 7:38. Asked the mom, are we not going to pray? Meanwhile,
habit.
That's their sleep time. So now you've talked about, we're winding down now. Okay, just a quick one. Let's take a quick feedback from Kelly, my colleague in Surulere. Kelly, any improvements?
Well, not at all, Ayo. We've been moving around, but just a moment ago, I must mention the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, was just here a moment ago to cast his vote. And shortly after that, of course, the whole place looks like it's back to normal. Take a look at what is going on here. We have election observers just seated here, party agents as well, just here ensuring that at 2:30 p.m. when voting is going to stop, they are on ground to ensure that their votes are counted. And of course, come closer and just let's see how we can do our viewers what it looks like here. I understand about 669 persons registered to vote in this particular polling station, Elizabeth Fowler polling unit. But at the moment, as 10 minutes ago when I asked, I understand just about 59 persons had voted at that time. I don't know what the number looks like right now, but we have INEC officials here on ground ensuring that people who have registered, who have their voters card, can also come here and vote. But it's still a bit scanty. I mean, if 669 persons registered to vote, and right now you can see they're just here waiting for more persons to turn up and just exercise their franchise as well. A few persons we've spoken to, let's say the process is absolutely seamless. It's not as what we used to experience a few years ago. This time around, I mean, everything is done simultaneously, accreditation and voting almost simultaneously at the same time. Just a few pockets of journalists hanging around here, party agents, election observers as well, here from this particular constituency, Surulere Constituency 1, being on ground, trying to ensure that everything goes on as smoothly as possible. Ayo.
Kelly, thank you so much for your reporting. Of course, we'll still be taking more reports from you subsequently at the top of the hour. I'm very sure that a report will be in for people to know what's going on in the various parts of Nigeria where elections are supposed to take place. Thank you so much for your time and your reporting, Kelly. Well, that's an update right there. We're hoping that, I mean, at the end of the day, the needful will be done in the interest of all of us. Well, our time is up. Eziaga Bolaji Olojo, certified child nutritionist. Truly appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, let's just say the conversation continues, Abi, as always. Okay. She didn't come to beat you today.
Discussion continues.
She didn't come to beat you today.
No.
You're happy with this one?
For once. For once. You're leaving me a very happy woman.
Oh, really?
Normally, they come and tell me things that scare me all the time.
Like, don't eat cake. That's a show
Don't
today.
eat chocolate.
Well, you shouldn't be eating chocolate. I would. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, we have heard
you. You only live once.
Yes, please. After
and you
this
only
program,
live once, which is that's where we anchor today's program. Please remember, you only live once, so eat all the things you want to eat, but eat healthily, and give your children healthy food. Only milk and water. That's what WHO recommends. Remember all of that. And don't forget that you can go to, what's that thing again? Rewards? Yes, www.cashtokenreward.ng. Reward, there's no S on the end.
By the way,
don't forget.
We need to push out your comment to people. You have an Instagram handle or something?
Yes, that would be Coach E Nation.
Coach E.
Coach E.
Coach as in the one that coaches.
Coach, yes.
E Nation.
Nation, yes.
Nation.
Yes, and then the website is coache.ng.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for spending your morning with us this first Saturday in the month of February. We'll hope to see you again. Well, not see you, be with you again next Saturday. I'm Alera, wishing you all the best until then.
Well, you can see us. I also see you in the spirit. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a beautiful week ahead. I'm Ayoma.
On Metrofile this week, maritime lawyer Dr. Emeka Akabogu marks 50 golden years in style. Also on the show, former executive director of Nigerian Television Authority, Chief Grace Egbagbe, holds her annual Thanksgiving service in gratitude to God.
My Lord, my King.
It's all pomp and pageantry as a Lady of Apostles Secondary School Ijebu-Ode Old Girls Association mark the 70th anniversary of their alma mater. It's a brand new edition of Metrofile, the first in the month of February, and I hope the month has started very well for you. We're here again, as we always do, to ease you into the weekend with a social diary program, Metrofile. And today, it's all about celebration and, of course, gratitude to God on the program. So welcome again to Metrofile. I'm Anne Nwawado. As we always tell you, watch out for flash photography as you enjoy. They say turning 50 is not a milestone of aging. It is actually the celebration of life's wisdom and, of course, experience. So let's celebrate with seasoned maritime lawyer Dr. Emeka Akabogu as he marks 50. It was also an event that included a book launch.
There was already an air of celebration at the cocktail lounge as guests arrived for the delightful evening on Victoria Island in Lagos. Dr. Emeka Akabogu turns 50, and the seasoned maritime lawyer has decided that to celebrate the Golden Jubilee anniversary, he'll give the maritime industry an eternal gift that will last for generations. As the special guests settle for the dinner, the event quickly gets underway with another give back, this time through a debate between the University of Lagos and the Lagos State University on the theme Port Expansion versus Port Optimization. Both the winner and the losers will go away with cash prizes. Consistent give back to the coming generation of writers, Dr. Emeka Akabogu also gives back to the winners of the Dream Rich Challenge. Then a few goodwill messages before the review of the two books being launched.
Emeka has always created a platform for shipping and maritime discourse. And we have always benefited so much from Dr. Akabogu's platforms.
with 33 years experience. Or alternatively, we call him maybe 15 with 35 years wisdom. Dr. Kabogo, you have made your impact and you are making impact in the maritime industry.
Having worked closely with him in various programs, his work and his deeds has been a good reference material for us in the ministry.
Chapter 3 undertakes a meticulous exploration of the terms ships, unraveling its multifaceted definition across various legislations such as the Merchant Shipping Act, the Admiralty Jurisdiction Act, and the Cabotage Act.
In 3, 2, and 1. Technical, the stage is yours.
At the launch of the two books.
Us to click our glasses first for the next 50 years of fruitful achievements. Can we say cheers? Cheers.
With the book launch over, the celebrant opens the dance floor.
It's very unique. Dance floor, dance floor, dance floor. The photos can come later. Hey. Keep it on go, keep it on go, keep it on go. Keep it on go.
Dr. Emeka Kabogo is a veteran maritime lawyer, one of the classic example of a super lawyer on the maritime sector, in the maritime of all spread. I'm sure he has helped so many people in this sector, both in the maritime industry and the oil and gas. You know, he's a unique person.
His contributions to the maritime sector of the Nigerian economy cannot be overemphasized. Now, he has established himself in the areas of maritime, intellectual property, international trade, and energy, and shipping as well.
Has a heart for the country's maritime, legal, and shipping industry. And he has been very consistent. Once Emeka puts his hand on the plow on any issue, he never looks back.
50 has been a story of experiences, ups, downs, but a lot of glory for God.